It's customary for two fighters to shake hands and come to equal terms after a bout has concluded, and it appears that Xbox and Sony are attempting to do something akin to this very sentiment. At least, we can hope they are. Let's talk about it. Good morning, evening, or afternoon. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the XP Podcast. This is episode 59 for the third week of July 2023. I'm your host, Mike C, and joining me, as always, once again, every time, all the time, the man with the best nose on YouTube, the Birdman himself, Logan P.
The best nose. I went from the best hair to the best nose.
Yeah,
Hell
you know,
yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
awarding your face.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I just realized how far away my mic was. My bad, guys.
Well, I noticed last week when I was recording, I had my gain up really high because I was listening back to it. I'm like, man, why does it sound different? And I'm like, oh, because I had my gain up on my mic. So I got it back down now. So hopefully I sound a little bit better now.
Yeah, with it right up to my face, I actually keep it like below the final little circle.
Oh, I keep it all the way. I crank it all the way down.
Oh, all the way down? Okay, yeah. I keep it a little higher than that. But anyway,
yeah. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the XP Podcast. Episode, what is it? 59?
59.
60?
We're 10 episodes
59.
away. We're 10 episodes away from the big one.
Yeah.
The sexy one.
The sexy one.
You better make you better start planning out the baller thumbnail that you're gonna make.
Oh yes.
It's gotta have some sort of innuendo in it. All right.
Yeah,
What's
I
going
have
on,
some
man?
ideas. Well, first thing first, yeah, we got a pretty good week, surprisingly. We originally didn't have a lot planned for this week because not really much has been happening, but we got some pretty good stories to talk about. And I've done a lot this week, so I'm gonna try to get through that real quick on the rundown of what I've done this week when we get to that point. But other than that, Mike, how was your week?
That good. That's how good my week was.
That good.
Oh,
All
man.
right.
I am tired as shit, man. My general week was pretty fine. Played games with you guys, had a good time, got some chores done around the house, didn't do too much, didn't watch too much. Was just playing really one game and just kicking back, relaxing before that. But then the weekend hit, and wow. Work was busy, man. I got no sleep. I got like 3.5 hours of sleep Saturday night, man. Saturday morning, Friday night, whatever. Anyway, and then we had a late movie viewing. Watched the movie at 9:30 last night. Had to get up for work I had to be at work at 7, so I had to get up at 6. And yeah, I'm tired, but I'm here. I'm trying to be energized. If you see me randomly slap myself, it's just what I do. It's one of my weird kinks, so...
All right.
All right. So, but yeah, man, generally really, really tired right now, but we do have a jam-packed episode. Like I said, I sat down to write the script. Like I said, I'm tired. Leave me alone. Write the script on Wednesday, and I told Logan, I'm like, there's really not that much, man. It's going to be a short episode, you know? And then Thursday and Friday hit, and everything went off. So we got quite a bit to talk about. We're going to try to keep it as brisk as we can, get our opinions in there, get our analysis in there, and keep it moving so you guys don't have to be here for too long. But maybe you guys want to be here for too long. Either way, let us know. Yeah, I mean, if you want us to make a 4-hour show, we can do it. We've done it before. So we try not to because the viewership doesn't seem to like that too much. But if enough people say, hey, make a 4-hour show, we'll make an extended cut. We'll make the Snyder cut to the XP Podcast.
The Snyder cut.
Yeah. All right, man. But yeah. Anything else, dude? I guess how was your week?
Well, the week was pretty good. I didn't really sleep very well all week. But had a very busy week. Actually, a really, really busy week of not only things I wanted to do, but a lot of things that I had to do. But other than that, been pretty chill week. I'm very excited for next weekend to come around. A little bit more exciting things are going to happen. Other than that, yeah, that's it for me.
All right. Well, like I said, I'm going to keep it short, brisk, and sweet this week. We start the episode this week, like we do every week, and that is with a question of the week. And guys out there, like I've been saying for multiple weeks now, if you are listening to us, if you like us, if you like our analysis, you like our personalities, whatever, you think we're cute, I don't care why you listen to it. Only thing I care is if you're listening. And if you are listening, comment down below your questions for us. It can be anything from gaming, movies, TV show, topical questions, life questions, the meaning of existence on the planet Earth. I don't care. I'll talk about it. I like to talk, so it's the reason why we do this pretty much. So anyway, comment down below your questions for us. We will go through them. We'll make them a part of the show. And we'll get you guys engaged. And we just generally want to create the best community that we can with this show of people who love to talk and discuss video games, but do it in a respectful and nice way and aren't mean to people. Because while I'm mean to my friends, I'm not mean to everybody out there. So let's talk to Andrew. I'm not the nicest guy to Andrew, but I do it in jest. So he understands that. Speaking of that, did you see the Discord thing that I put in there today?
Yeah, what he said.
Well, did you see my response to it?
Yes.
Oh, I like to think of myself as a funny guy. Anywho, the question of the week is actually a very good question this week. Mr. Birdman himself came up with this, and I was thinking pretty heavily on it the past couple days. So here we go. This is what Logan wanted to know. Do you think there is going to be any negative repercussions in reference to the fan base of PlayStation making live service / multiplayer games a bigger focus of their portfolio moving forward instead of strictly focusing on the AAA single player experiences that got them to where they are now? And I have the answer, and then I have my answer and my response to it. So which one do you want? I mean, I'm gonna give you.
Let's do your answer first.
I'm gonna
give us the answer.
I'm gonna give you both. So.
Okay.
My answer. Well, okay. I don't have any negative repercussions from it. I just completely destroyed my whole thought process here. I'm going to give you both. The answer is we've already seen that, yes, there is a negative reaction to the PlayStation's fan base out there. They don't like it. I don't think they're really thinking it completely through, because here's why. And this is why I am 100% fine with it. Because PlayStation is doing it in the way that we always talk about how other companies don't do it. Other companies, Square Enix, they say, Crystal Dynamic, go make a live service game. Which is the wrong decision, and it usually, more than not, proves to be the wrong decision in the quality of the game and the quality of the content and all that. PlayStation isn't really going after that yet. Think of the games that we've got announced so far as their live service games, right? You have the Horizon multiplayer game made by Guerrilla. Guerrilla has a history with multiplayer stuff. They know what they're doing. Last of Us Factions, while it seems to be in trouble, we still have absolutely no clue what it is. Naughty Dog has a decent track record with multiplayer. I mean, yeah, it's not the most well-loved multiplayer of all time, but I mean, Uncharted 2, 3, 4, and Last of Us all had very solid multiplayer components to those games. The other two, Haven with Fair Games, Firespite with Concord, obviously Bungie with Destiny. You want to know what all these studios have in common? They're not the studios that make the single-player games that Sony's known for. So we're still going to be we're getting Spider-Man in a month and a half, I think. No, like 2 months. But anyway, we're still going to get Ghost of Tsushima 2. We're still going to get whatever Sucker Punch. Well, that was so. We're still going to get the next Horizon, the next Last of Us. We're still going to get all those games. They have, in my opinion, so far at least, from outward appearances, we haven't played any of these things, so we have no clue what any of these things are in terms of quality-wise. But they're doing it smartly by expanding their studios and going to these different people who maybe have a little bit more experience with multiplayer stuff and saying, can you make this game for us? What kind of ideas do you have with this game? Whatever the fly-on-the-wall discussions are behind the scenes, they're not going to... I was going to say Pixel Opus, but they don't exist no more. So they're not going to one of the smaller studios that have only made like kind of artsy games and story games and said, hey, go make us the next Destiny or Warzone. They're not doing that, which, again, is one of the few things I think are good about this, is at least the going about it in the right way. They're not forcing these studios that don't make these type of games to make them. They're saying, hey, you... are great. They're not going to Santa Monica Studios and saying, go make us the next Fortnite clone. that probably wouldn't go well. Although I still feel like Santa Monica is a good enough studio they could probably pull it off. But then again, never mind, because the God of War multiplayer mode was fucking awful.
Yeah.
It was terrible. So
I
maybe
don't know if I
maybe
would
they
want them
weren't.
to make multiplayer games. I think they should just stick to what they got.
But then again,
'Cause,
like, so the way I see it, the way I'm picturing it is from the outside looking in, from what the only thing that we can do with this is they're at least going about it the right way. Now, whether that leads to success or not, we'll see. Like I've been saying since they started announcing this almost 2 years ago at this point, they say they're making, 10, 11, 12 live service games are in development right now. Whatever that number is, they need like 2 of them to hit and be successful. Not all of these are going to be successful. Not all of these are going to last. They may all have quality to them, but they're not all going to be successful because there's just not enough players spread that thin across the 40 to 50 million units of people that have a PlayStation. That's just not achievable. So they're really just looking for those 2 games to really hit and really last for years and years and years. And all that money they get coming in can then be refocused into the next wave of live service and their next single player games. And pretty much, I feel like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. They're trying to have everything and they're trying to own the world, I guess, in an aspect. And I personally hope they can pull it off because guess what? That means we get great games. Not just the single player games, but we get the new modern era of PlayStation games where they can pull off these multiplayer games. Pretty much the biggest criticism for the past decade and a half, they just don't do multiplayer, and at least they're trying. Again, most of these are probably going to fail regardless of the quality of them, but I'm at least hopeful, and I expect some of these to last a while, a couple years, 2, 3, whatever it is, and they can use that money to refocus in and reinvest in what makes them one of the best publishers out there. And I'm excited for that chance. But like I said, also the opposite could happen. Every single one of them could suck and make no money, and they could just destroy the kind of like goodwill that they have with gamers. Both of those things are entirely plausible. So that's my perspective on it. Is I just don't get the hate because it's not like you're not going to get the next God of War because they're making fair games. That's not the reality of it. And if they can keep doing that, if they can hold their guns back and not start forcing these other studios to make these games, then I don't really see a problem of it, as said, regardless of how successful or how good they are.
Okay.
I was very excited about that question.
Yeah. I don't know. It was a pretty good. Again, I've been thinking about it for a little bit as well. So I could see both sides of the story and why some people could be a little worried. And it's mainly not only because of the showcase, which was very lackluster, and I feel like they didn't really focus on any other like actual first party studios, or more just like shoving. I know, I guess technically these live service ones are now first party, but just like I don't know, it was, since it was all focused on multiplayer. I can understand why a lot of PlayStation people, which would be the most people, have become really big fans since, well, pretty much I would say probably PS4, and yeah, there was fans before that too, but PS3 did put a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. And the reason why PS4 did so well is because, in my opinion, Sony played the very safe route, in my opinion, without doing any multiplayer and not like chancing it, and they kind of were just kind of chill. That doesn't mean they didn't make anything great, but I'm saying they took the safe route of like going for one specific type of genre, and that's what they did. And you know what? They did it the best. So that's fair. They focused all their guns on this one thing, and they did all that. So I can understand why people are a little iffy about especially the last showcase, because the last showcase was literally pretty much all multiplayer. And the only things that weren't, people already knew were going to be there. Now, we can make the argument that not everyone knew about the Metal Gear Solid thing. That's fair, because probably not everyone did know that. Yeah, we knew about it, but that doesn't mean everyone knew about it. So some people were probably surprised by that. But we all for sure knew that Spider-Man 2 was going to be there. That wasn't a surprise at all. There was nothing about that was going to be surprising. So to only really technically have one surprise, and it, by the way, wasn't even exclusive, which I know a lot of PlayStation people usually want to see exclusive games, and Metal Gear Solid isn't. So technically, there was no actual first person, or single player games that were a surprise in the showcase for anyone. And they didn't do any updates for any of those either. And I can see where people can get a little scared because there has been postings. I don't have the exact thing, but they are supposedly lowering their budget for single player games and putting a higher budget for their multiplayer games that they're trying to release. And I can understand why that could scare some people. And it's not going to be a right away thing. They're not going to like snap their fingers and change it, but throughout the next few years they are going to slowly lower the budget. But that doesn't mean that they're still not going to be focusing on single player games, but they probably won't have the same budget that they did before because now they are splitting their whole thing into two. They have the single player games, and that were originally on the PlayStation 4, why a lot of those games were so great was because they focused strictly on single player games. There was literally no multiplayer games other than what? Killzone Shadowfall, Little Big Planet 3. That's it. I think that was the only two games I could think of off the top of my head that were, I guess, also Last of Us Remaster, if you want to count that as well. Those are the only three really that were PlayStation exclusive that were multiplayer, but they weren't really like they didn't put a lot of work into them. They were kind of like, there. Little Big Planet was mainly a multiplayer game, but that's a whole different story. And I guess also Dreams. No, Dreams isn't multiplayer, is it? So maybe not even that. But yeah, like I can understand why people could be a little worried about it because now they're kind of being ballsy this generation. I feel like they had to make up for such a bad launch, which was PS3 with a PS4, and then now PS5. It seems like they're trying to get back to being a little bit more ballsy, and they're gonna actually start releasing multiplayer games, which I'm sure obviously people should know this. Multiplayer isn't for everyone, but I understand why they're trying to do multiplayer. I mean, that's what Xbox has been doing. They've just been strictly doing multiplayer mostly. And yes, they do have single player and stuff, but it's their main thing for Xbox has basically been multiplayer in some way or form, and Western RPGs. That's pretty much been their two things. So yeah, I don't think people need to be worried about this, but I can also understand why people could be worried about it. And I guess we gotta see because also Sony is also focusing a lot on making everything cinematic now with these shows, which we don't even know where the budget of that's going into. Which we'll see. Maybe I mean they pulled off one of them with The Last of Us, but they have two more big ones coming out, so that could also be a worry. I don't know. Oh, well, I guess they also have that movie coming out soon, Gran Turismo. So like, I can. They're just kind of spreading their wings at this point. We'll see how well it does. I think honestly, people should just have an open mind, take it for what it is, see where it goes. I understand the worry behind everyone's head with it because, like, I'm not gonna lie, PlayStation hasn't done a really good job of proving they could do multiplayer very well, especially with Gran Turismo and their scandal with making the most insane microtransactions for buying cars. Like that was stupid. So I hope to God that's not going to be all their games, but we'll see. I mean, at least I know I have faith in one of their companies, and that's Bungie, but that's it. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see where it goes, But I also just hope they don't start dwindling down their single player stuff because they should know by now their main audience is the single player audience at this point. They do have a multiplayer audience, but that's with Call of Duty. That's a whole different thing. And yeah, so that's my point.
Yeah, and like I don't see any proof that they are gonna go away from single player games. Like I said, pretty much everything we've got announced that is multiplayer focused is either from studios that have done multiplayer or brand new studios that they've recently purchased and hired on and contracting work and doing all this stuff. They have not said Santa Monica's next game is a multiplayer only focused game, and I'm fairly confident, let's say 99%, that they won't do that. Like, and if they do that, I'll be the first one to, what the fuck are you doing? Again,
Yeah.
regardless of the quality of whatever multiplayer game Santa Monica could make, I want them to make the next God of War or the next whatever they're doing. And again, they're not going to, because we already know they're making that Cory Barlog game, which is rumored to be a science fiction fantasy game. And like there's just they're making God of War. There's no question of what that other team is working on. It's gearing up for the next God of War. Like this, if anybody questions that, I don't know where your head's at. But and I did read a story actually this week. I didn't put it in there because it was a translated story, so it was really hard to read in English. But Sony has announced that they're reinvesting $2 billion over the next 12 months into R&D. Or if you don't know what R&D is, it's research and development. And they said they're mostly focusing that on the PlayStation sect of the company. And while $2 billion doesn't sound like a lot of money if you look at, Microsoft's purchase of Activision at $68 billion, still $2 billion, that's 10 God of War Ragnaroks.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of money to reinvest into new, maybe innovative, or maybe just fresh takes on whatever it is they're doing. That's a lot of money to throw back in to PlayStation. I mean, PlayStation is their most successful outlet. I think the last time I looked, it brings in 48% of their annual revenue, which is ridiculous. So, I honestly think people are blowing this out of the water. I get what you're saying with the recent showcase and how, if you just look at it from the paper thin aspect of what they showed you, it looks like, all they're doing now is multiplayer. But that's looking at it through a blind eye, Like, they didn't show anything else.
I'm just saying what the public is saying. Like,
I got you.
Obviously, no, it's not going to be a big deal. Because, it was bound to happen that Sony was going to, break out of that specific narrow section of just single-player games. Come on, PS3, they had a lot of multiplayer games. But I think, again, as I said, I think they played it very safe with the PS4 generation and strictly making single-player games. And I'm not complaining about that. We've had some of the best single-player games out there because of that. But that also means that, it's bound to happen that they were going to want to evolve and add more to their portfolio. And if they can get into the multiplayer market, that's good money. And also, it adds more players to the PlayStation family. So, yeah, if they can make a multiplayer game, especially that is very popular, I'm telling you, multiplayer sells. So, clearly. Yeah. So, that's what I mean. It makes sense that they're going for CoD, and I don't think it's going to be a problem. I'm not worried about it at all. But I'm just saying, I can understand why some people may be a little worried, but also people just know that, it was supposed to be a multiplayer showcase from the beginning. Don't worry about it. I do agree, though, it was a little sad to see that there was barely any single-player first-party games showed there, especially when we've been waiting as long as we have been for, I don't know, just anything new. So I can understand why people are a little upset by that. But
yeah. But like I said,
we'll
I still, the rumor mill's kicking up once again. We'll get into it later on in this episode. It just appears to be almost factual that there's another showcase on the horizon. And then hopefully, we'll get a better look at the other stuff that the Sony studios that we know and love them for, what they're working on. And that would give us a whole picture of this year's Sony updates, where, I still feel like we've only seen half the picture yet. Not even that, because Concord is 8 years away. So, and like I said, I try not to judge things until I play them. I said for a long time, Exoprimal looked awful. And we're going to get to it very quickly now. It's not awful. It's not great, but it's not awful.
Not great. Yeah, I definitely agree with that point.
But I will give you my perspective and what I think, but that's not my ifto facto judgment. I will give most things the time in the sun. I feel like that's not just my own personal responsibility. I feel like it's generally a responsibility of people who want to talk critically about things and want to be an analyst in some way, shape, or form in this industry, to hold back their ifto facto judgments until they've experienced it firsthand. And I guess that's controversial anymore. I don't know why that's a controversial take to have. That's the way it should be, but I guess that's the way it's not anymore. But all right, Great question, man. When you told me that question the other day, I was so freaking excited. I was like, "Let's go." This is a question
I've
I
been
could
thinking
div
about it.
into.
I've been thinking about it for a while, man. So I
Yeah.
just thought it was interesting, and it's cool to hear from you, who's more of a not saying this in a mean way. You are more of a PlayStation fanboy than I am. So not in the bad way, fanboy. You're not one of
I would
those,
say
but
I'm a
you know.
PlayStation fan. I'm not a fanboy. Fanboys out there. Name one time I've been a true fanboy where I haven't
Look at the
criticized it.
back of you right now and look at how many PlayStation stuff's behind you.
Yeah, I'm a
Tell me.
fan. I what's also the main console
Holy.
I've had for years. I've owned a
That's fair.
360, an Xbox One, and technically by way of my PC, I own a Series S or X. But
True.
yeah, I mean, and there's an NES that's in my closet. There's a Wii U in my attic. So
Yeah,
technically,
you beat me on that.
tech,
I've never even never owned a.
technically the Xbox One's in my attic too. But well,
Yeah,
I don't need that to be out. So
yeah, you don't know.
that's one of
You
them
could hide
consoles,
that.
man, that I just didn't play it that much. I mean, I got it. I
Well, I
got
mean, I
the
don't blame you. There wasn't really much
yeah.
of a reason to.
I
I
I
just happened to have that my entire life. I obviously didn't have the money to go buy a PS4. But yeah, now it's like I get it.
I categorize fanboys as somebody who just whatever the story is, they search and search and search and reach for a way to make their perspective higher. And that's not
That's
me.
fair.
If it's there, if my opinion's there to be, I guess not null and void. What's the opposite of null and void? Verified or whatever the terminology is. I'll be there to say it, but if it's not there, then I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to make something up or take this one little nugget from a story I read that's a 5 articles and be like, see, this is why Xbox, this is why Phil Spencer is a Nazi. I'm not going to say that, in
Yeah.
actual perpetuity. So anyway, neither of us are fanboys. We're fans of video games, and we just happen to like certain respective companies that make those video games.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm going to put it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, though, if you didn't know, this is, in fact, the XP Podcast, our weekly video game and pop culture news podcast, where Logan and myself sit down with y'all and talk about all the news stories and happenings inside and out of the video game world. We post a new episode. I said post again. Why can't I say this, Christ? We post a new episode each and every Monday at 8 a.m. so you can listen to it throughout the week or whenever you desire. You can find us on most of the popular podcasting services, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. If you enjoy what we're doing here on the XP Podcast, please go over to our Patreon, where you get to be a part of our weekly discussions and give us your opinions on everything we talk about and everything we don't. You'll also be able to find all of our uploads there, along with any exclusive episodes we may post. And like we've been talking about, those are coming. We're working hard. We're trying to get everyone's schedules together, but those will be coming out, so look forward to those. Links for that, as always, though, are in the description down below, or you can simply go to patreon.com and search Experience Point, spelled capital X, capital P, ERIENCEPOINT. However, if you don't have any money to send our way, don't worry. We still love and appreciate you for listening to us and being a part of what is hopefully a growing community. You can also go to our YouTube channel where you get this show and all of our shows in video format. If you do, please give us a like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification icon so you can be aware of everything we post when we decide to post it. And now we get to the new segment. Previously on the XP Podcast, episode 58, we talked about Microsoft and Xbox prevailing against the FTC in their continuing fight to acquire Activision Blizzard. EA is making a new Black Panther game. We talked deeply about how popular bear sex is becoming in the modern world, and so much more. So go check that out if you haven't got a chance, and come on back here and hear what the new news is. With all that out of the way, though, let's get into this week's show. In our point of the show, we're bringing it back. We are giving you our full-on Week 1 impressions of the latest multiplayer game from Capcom, Exoprimal. We have played quite a few hours this week. Like we promised, we're going to come back to you with a very, very detailed and I don't know what I was going to go after detailed. Detailed thoughts and analysis on the experience as a whole. Then and around the point, the PS5 has seemingly been leaked. Microsoft and Sony are shaking hands after a fight that exposed all the good and bads of each. And our reaction, and you're going to get our reaction to the Spider-Man 2 story trailer that came out this week. Spoiler alert, fire emoji.
Yes.
Then in LTR, we'll dive into the reviews for this week's games. But before we get to all that, it's time for what is and forever will be the rundown, where we catch up on all things pop culture that we've been doing throughout the week, whether that be movie, TV, video games, books, comics, whatever it is. We don't care. We love it all and love to talk about it. Mr. Birdman, what have you been doing?
Quite a bit, actually. It's probably one of the busiest weeks I've had in a long while of just stuff that I've been doing. A lot of watching things. So let me just kind of do a speed run real quick, because Mike's only got 4 things. I got quite a bit, and I'm just gonna kind of speed run it, give you my rating real quick, and get through it. So, Netflix. I've been watching quite a bit of stuff on it recently, even though I don't agree with their bullshit, freaking dumb password sharing thing. Fucking dumb. But the things I do like about it, which is their content. And so I've been watching a lot of stuff recently. I started watching, well, not started watching. I picked it back up. A show called Money Heist, which is there's another one too that came out that's like a Korean version of this. This one is all in Spanish. But this show is really, really good. Won't say it's great. I think it's next to being there in greatness. It's super close. But I think after, because I've only watched the first 2 parts, which is kind of like a beginning and end to the first part of the story, is what I'm going to call it. And I thought it was pretty good. Well, not pretty good. I thought it was really good. But it definitely started to get a little sloppy to the end, towards the end, especially the last episode. There was a lot of things that really just was like, what? That didn't make any sense, but sure. And also a lot of weird relationships between some of the characters, and I'm like, why? Why is this a part of this? But the whole like kind of twists and turns and this kind of like cat and mouse chase, because it's about like, basically, to summarize it, there's a bunch of people that are doing this big heist. And basically there's this guy on the outside named the Professor who has had this plan for this heist for the longest time. He helped train all these people. He had this huge plan where he thought of literally everything. And so there's a lot of these like twists and turns where it's like, obviously, like, like the cops are trying to figure out who the mastermind is for this heist. And then the people in the actual doing the heist have like all these plans and all these ways of tricking the police and everything. And I don't know, it's just very fascinating and very good. And it's not like the normal heist thing where there's people that get killed and all that. Are you what I mean by that? It's like them killing hostages and stuff like that. It's not like that. It's a little different. It's a little bit more about them not exactly being bad guys in some ways. Some of them are pretty fucked up. But it's just really, really good. It's really interesting. Obviously, you do not watch it in English. The dubbing is horrible. Just watch it in the normal original form with English subtitles. I know some people can't get through with that, but I think I can't stand when the mouth sync is off and when I'm looking at their mouth and English is going above it and they're still moving their mouths. It bothers me so much. So yeah, go watch it. Very good. First 2 parts. If I had to give it a rating right now for what I've watched, I think it's a solid B. Solid B. I think it is good, not great. A lot of the characters, again, have very weird relationships, which really are just out of the blue and just questionable. And especially some of the things that happen, I'm like, how the fuck are these people cops? But other than that, really good. I think if you have Netflix, go watch it. It's fantastic. I like this kind of stuff, and it's very dramatic in some ways, but it's also just kind of action packed. And again, there's a lot of twists and turns throughout it, and I think it's great. So yeah, that's the first thing I watched this week. Let me get to the next thing real quick. Mike already talked about this a while ago. Don't know how many months ago. It was months and months ago. It's a movie called Gray Man. And when he told me about it, I've been wanting to watch it for the longest time. So since I had a lot of free time this week, I decided, hey, I'm gonna watch Gray Man finally, and it's great. It is a great movie. I kind of really enjoy the weird comedy that they're going for too within the movie. It wasn't the normal spy thriller thing. It was a lot of like cheesy lines being thrown back and forth in a way where they're like they made like weird funny jokes basically, like especially Chris Evans being a villain,
Chris
seeing him as a
Evans
villain,
killed it in that role, dude.
phenomenal, absolutely so good. I've been recommending it to everyone in my family. Go watch it, it's so good. So yeah, A tier. I think it's great. Sorry, I give it an A. I think it's really, really great movie. I think the action was so good. I think the storyline was fantastic. It's like a spy ish, not really spy. It's kind of like a Jason Bourne. I don't really know what you call that. It's not really. He's not a spy.
I mean, it's a
Well, I
spy
guess he
movie.
is.
It's a spy movie. It's just
Yeah, yeah.
it's just a,
It's kind of like a John Wick, Jason
it's
Bourne,
like a
et
dark
cetera, et
spy
cetera.
movie.
Yeah, yeah. I guess the best way to compare it, yeah, is just like Jason Bourne, because like he's being hunted, but it's by specific evil people of the government. Um, So yeah, again, very good. I think everyone does a fantastic job in their acting and everything, and the action's fantastic, and also the comedy surprisingly was really really good. I didn't expect all the comedy that was going to be in it. I thought it was going to be a very serious movie. I mean, it is serious, but there is a lot more comedy than I expected, and that doesn't lower for me. I think it's a fantastic movie. So again, got Netflix, recommend it. A tier, easy and done. Let me get to you on one more thing, and I'm gonna bring it back to Mike, and then we can go back to me because I know I'm talking a lot. The last movie, well, semi-last movie that I'm gonna be talking about, is a movie called The Forgotten Battle. I didn't finish this movie, and so let me tell you something here. There's not a lot of movies in my lifetime that I've not finished. I usually sit down and I watch the entire movie. This movie is so bad that I couldn't even finish it. Like, it was really, really bad. I like war movies. I get very into it. Even if it's not the greatest war movie all time, I usually enjoy it. This movie sucks. It sucks. The characters are fucking dumb. They're annoying. These soldiers are like the worst acting soldiers I've ever seen in a movie in my entire life. It's like and especially when they compare, the fact that they compared this movie to Saving Private Ryan and their fucking description is a spit in the face to Saving Private Ryan. It really made me mad because I'm like, don't you dare compare this movie to Saving Private Ryan. You do not have the right to do that because this movie sucks. It's so bad. I got through half the movie and I'm like, all these characters are really dumb, really annoying. They're doing things that soldiers wouldn't fucking do. They were just dumb and it was just bad. It was horribly acted. All the action was garbage. It was stupid. And just it's like a movie that they shot with high-end cinema cameras, but they fucking gave like the most what is even like indie movie budget to it. It's very just bad. Don't recommend it. And
Yeah,
again, it takes a lot for me to not finish a movie. This movie borderline pissed me off because of how bad it was. And I'm like, I can't do this. I can't. It's
yeah.
bad.
I saw it on the list when you put it on there, and I was like, it sounds like something I've watched before. So I looked up on my Netflix account, and I do not remember this. I don't remember really anything about it, so do not take what I'm about to say with any sort of criticism or anything like that. I don't know if I stopped because it's quality, that's Logan, lack thereof, or I got distracted. Things happen sometimes. But I've watched 7 minutes and 53 seconds of the movie. Take that for what you will. I don't know why I stopped. But like Logan said, I very rarely, I can't even remember the last time I quit a movie just midway
I
through.
mean,
I can't remember.
it takes like I can't even remember the last movie I haven't just
I
like
watched
even if it's bad, like I've seen a lot of bad movies and usually I could sit through them. But this one was just so bad that I was just like, dude, this sucks. Like
I
this just sucks. There's no redeeming qualities for this entire movie.
I sat through Welcome to the Jungle, and this is a very not very, but it's an older movie. This entire movie is literally two people in a boat going down a river in the Amazon. And then some stuff happens in the last 10 minutes of the movie. And my dad and I, this is going to sound really, really weird, but I was older at the time. Um, my dad and I, the only reason we kept watching the movie is because we kept telling each other, like, these two characters gotta fuck at some point in time, right? That's the only redeeming quality left, is maybe there's an interesting sex scene or something like that. Now I know that's a very odd thing to say, but that's what kept us watching. We're like, maybe they fuck. I don't know. And they never did. So spoiler alert for Welcome to the Jungle. But it was terrible. That's probably one of the worst movies I've ever watched. And I sat through the entire hour and 40 something minute. It felt like 3 hours. I don't remember how long it is. But yeah, I just don't quit watching movies. So I don't think I quit it that early because of lack of quality. I probably just like started it and was like, I'm not feeling this, so I moved on to something else. But maybe I'll give it a shot. I love war movies. You and I both love war movies.
Oh, I love war
It's
movies. They're like Saving Private Ryan is literally my favorite movie of all time. Literally my favorite movie. So yeah, it hurt my soul when I seen they were comparing it to it, and I'm like, don't you fucking dare compare this to that movie.
And
But
speaking of war media, I have a perfect segue. I have played and platinumed a little game called The Light in the Darkness. And I'm going to put a PSA to everyone out there. If you have any sort of interest in World War II at all, not exactly the battles that take place, but just the general story about what happened to the Jewish people during that, go play this game. Because guess what? It's free to download on PlayStation. It's about an hour and a half, and you get a platinum for beating it. And well, I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your ass and be like, this game is revolutionary. It's one of the best indies we've got. It's not. It's just a emotional journey for about an hour, 15, hour and a half. And if you want to get essentially a free platinum, go ahead and do it. But it is a good story with good characters and just an all around sad and emotional tale that gives you a perspective that you don't see a lot. The on the ground perspective of the Jewish people during the pretty much dawning and beginning of World War II. And it gives you some history stuff. So that's what I want, Logan.
it's an indie game.
Yeah, it was made by like 5 people.
What is it called again?
It's called The Light in the Darkness. It's free to download, and you get a platinum for it for beating it. So,
Okay,
like I said, it's like an hour and a half,
I'm
man.
interested.
Yeah, you can play it in literally less time than you can watch that. Almost the same amount of time you put into watching the Forgotten Battle. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I see now. This looks cool. I kind
Again,
of like the style of it too.
yeah, the style's interesting. It's not an impeccably made video game. The walking animations are jank, but it's really all about just you walk, you listen to the story play out, you get some information, and the game gets out of your way. And it was just it was just awesome. I loved that hour and a half, you know. And it's pretty, I would say it's marginally impactful because like if you know anything about World War II, you know what's going down, you know what's about to happen. But
Mhm.
it's a cool game from a perspective that we don't see a little bit. And like I said, you can go out there and press the download button, support some people who are just trying to make an impactful game that means something to them. And I think that matters in this industry. So, all right, I only got a couple more things. Obviously, we've been playing Exoprimal. We're going to get to that momentarily. I'm slowly continuing my New Game Plus playthrough on Final Fantasy, doing the Final Fantasy difficulty to get that platinum trophy. Slowly working through that. I've been distracted with other stuff, but I do want to have a correction from last week. And last week we talked about the potential DLC for Final Fantasy. And I listened to the episode and I felt like I came off like I was on board. And I think I was at the time. And then I thought about it. And I felt like that was a little hypercritical of some of the things I've said in recent episodes. I'm going to change my perspective.
Okay.
I don't want DLC for this game. The only way I could see that makes it work if it's like a standalone DLC that's not connected to anything, maybe, a prequel story with Sid or whatever. I don't want them to do the whole intertwine like, they do with Horizon where, it technically takes place at this part of the story and you can access it whenever, or like Cyberpunk's doing where it takes, this takes place during this time, whatever. I don't want that. What I want is I want Mr. Yoshi P and the team over there at CBU 3. Creative Business Unit 3. 1, change your name. 2, go take your vacations. Take some time off. You deserved it. You made a phenomenal video game, in a lot of people's opinion, and this guy's opinion. come back in the fall time this year, maybe January next year, and just start knocking out 17. Square Enix, if you're listening, give them a $250 check. No, a lot more. Give them a $250 million check. I said that wrong. And tell them to go make the next one. Because I want the next one in as quick as time as we can possibly make this and the same high level of quality. I don't want to have to wait 8 years for the Final Fantasy 17. Don't waste your time on DLC. You told a entire beginning, middle, end connective story that needs no other sort of information to understand and get everything from it. Perfect. Go take your time. Go take your vacations. Square Enix, give them the check. Go make Final Fantasy 17. Because I fucking want it so bad.
Yeah.
So there's my correction. All right, your turn. I'll save the last thing because I actually have things to say about the last thing. I really just wanted to talk about the Light of Darkness because I know you'll like it. Again, it's not mind blowing, but it's good. So
yeah, I I've never heard of it, but I looked it up. Looks kind of cool.
And you get that.
I actually think I'd be really interested in it.
And you get that sweet platinum at the end of it. So
yeah.
I know
I'm gonna make sure not to get it just because
you literally
I'm not
can't.
gonna beat the very.
I guess if you don't completely finish the game and not watch the ending cutscene, then I guess maybe you technically won't get it. But that's a very petty ass stance, man.
Okay, but I have another movie. A lot of movies this week. I know. This one is a movie that when they first showed the trailer, I had zero to no faith in it. I didn't really think it was going to be good. But then everyone was like, it's really, really good. Like, it's great. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll give it the chance. And that movie is Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. Which, I gotta say, from my own opinion now of watching it, it is a great movie. And I mean that. I will say the art style wasn't what I was expecting, and what I mean by that is when I saw all the trailers, it kind of reminded me a lot of like Into the Spider-Verse, and it's kind of weird because like some of this,
it's kind of like painterly, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's what's weird because it seems like the only moments that I truly notice that is when they get to the fight scenes because they do that kind of like Into the Spider-Verse kind of like I don't know how many frames per second they do, but it's like it feels kind of like choppy in a sense. Yeah, it's like a low frame rate.
Or like stop motion.
And I like that because
stop motion animation.
It looks really, really good, and I really like that. But I thought that was kind of how the vibe they were going for with the entire movie. But instead it seems like during the normal moments, it's kind of hard to notice that painter like art style that they have during the fight scenes, which is a little weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a little nitpicky, but I didn't notice that. But other than that, I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a really good story, especially for a kids movie. Which I say that lightly. I love the Shrek movies, so I still enjoy this kind of stuff. But I know it is a mainly targeted towards kids kind of thing, and I think it has a really good story to tell, and it's very interesting, and the plot is very fascinating. Again, I like the art style, at least most of the time. Some of it doesn't seem like it's like they change art styles, but other than that, it's fantastic. I fully recommend it. It's on Netflix right now. Again, like it just came out recently to Netflix, and I've been really excited to go watch this movie, and I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't disappointed, and for that reason, just not to go on too long, I give it an A. Another A. I think this movie is actually a really great movie. It isn't perfect in any way, but I do think it's great. And I do think the action's phenomenal. I think the characters in this movie are awesome. Some absolutely hilarious jokes are in here. And they also have a lot of that Shrek comedy in here in some ways. Which I enjoy, at least for Shrek 1 and Shrek 2, especially Shrek 2, dude. Shrek 2 was masterful, man, with its fucking comedy. I think it was great. And they bring a lot of, like, the fairy tale stuff back, which I'm really happy about. So that's why I liked about Shrek so much, was that they had this weird comedy style with, like, all these different fairy tales coming together. And this movie adds a lot of fairy tale stuff to it. And I enjoy that quite a bit. So, yeah, if you haven't watched it already, if you have Netflix, recommend it full-heartedly. Next thing I want to get through real quick, I also watched the Waco American Apocalypse, which is a documentary, 3-part series on Netflix. And if you don't know anything about Waco, go watch this. I didn't know anything about Waco until I watched this. Like, I knew a little bit about it, but I didn't know exactly everything that happened. And this is an awesome documentary. Very, very good. I'm starting to get more into documentaries. I think ever since like Tiger King, which I know that's really funny, but Tiger King was a really good documentary. Whether you want to believe it or not, it was a good documentary. So Waco is a very good documentary. I really, really enjoy it. I thought it was awesome. It was very fascinating to learn about all the different moments, and like you got to hear all the phone interviews, and they even had some of the people that were actually a part of that, whatever you want to call it, cult. Pretty much was a cult.
It was not pretty much. It was definitely a cult.
Yeah, it definitely was. Yeah. Well, for the people that they were interviewing, they didn't believe that, but it was really good. It was a really good series. I'd never actually heard the whole story, so to hear all that, I'm like, man, that's some weird times right there. Holy shit. The amount of stuff that went down in like a couple days was insane. But yeah. I guess my last thing real quick, and then I'll throw you back to your other things, is I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3 yesterday again. And if you guys don't already know already, this is an S tier movie. I still believe it even after my second watch through. It is just so good. I don't get how people say this is the worst out of all the other Guardians of the Galaxy. I full-heartedly disagree with that. Even after watching it a second time through, I still have the same feelings I did before. I think this is a fantastic movie and probably one of the last great MCU movies to come out. So, yeah, I think it is very, very good. If you haven't watched it already, go watch it. So, that's it. I'll bring it back to you. Now, I'll bring my last thing in.
Okay,
last,
I was like, I didn't know if you can do that now. All right. My technically last thing. I watched Barbie last night.
Yeah.
All right. I gotta set the stage here a little bit. Peyton went out. She was. This is the most hyped I've ever seen her in our 6+ years of dating be for a movie. She went out, bought, not costumes, bought outfits for it. We both wore pink bottoms, white tops. She was in it. She couldn't wait. I was like I talked about last week. I'm marginally excited. Like, I wasn't regretting going to the theater to see it. I was like, all right, here we go. I'm going in. I want to see I'm expecting to see a good comedy movie based off the Barbie property, right? That's what I went into the movie seeing. What I left the theater and what I got in that theater was essentially an existential acid trip about the meaning of the human condition. And when I tell you this, I do not say this lightly. This is as close to an S tier movie that I can get without being one. I'm going to officially give Barbie an A on my scale. I think this movie is pretty fantastic. And I say that with no sort of funniness behind it. This movie has a lot to say about what it means to be us. And let me tell you what, I was shell shocked. I gotta sneeze. I sneezed. All right.
I sneezed.
I was shell shocked watching this movie. I could not believe how much this actually had to say about what it means to be human and how we go about finding our one true self and coming to a conclusion of who we are as people. And I understand all the smiles and eye rolls that people are listening to this out there. Guys, I'm telling you, this movie kicked ass. It was funny. Not as funny as I thought it was going to be. It wasn't as much of a comedy as I thought it was going to be. But it had a lot to say. And not even that, it had this whole kind of sub-theme about the dangers of groupthink. And that's something we face in our society today is, this idea of groupthink and how bad it can be to the development of everybody's individual self. And I will always talk bad about groupthink. You should never just come up with your own conclusions based on what other people say. I've always been a champion for figure things out yourself, figure out what you like and what you dislike, and find who you are. And this movie has something to say about that too as well. And I could not believe what I was watching. And as the events were playing out, my head is just sitting there and I'm just thinking about the themes and what the movie is saying. And each individual scene I started breaking down and be like, all right, what's the purpose behind what's this saying about who we are as people? And I'm watching a fucking Barbie movie. And I was blown away, man. I couldn't fucking believe what I was watching. I will say the first 10 minutes of this movie, I was very worried. Because I sat down and this felt like a propaganda film. For a certain ideology that we deal with today in the modern world. And I was like, okay, well, this is going to be a rough 2 hours. Because I do not want to sit here and watch a propaganda film about something that I don't fully believe in. And it wasn't that at all. That was just pretty much a fake setup for what the real story and real theme and what this movie is and what it actually had to say. And holy shit, man. What a fucking... I'm going to call it a film. What a film. This isn't even a movie. This is a film with a voice. And like I said, I did not expect it. And I think it's funny. Peyton differs from me in a little bit. And she went into it expecting it to be a full-fledged comedy about Barbie, right? And that's not what she got. And she was very disappointed in that. She was like, I didn't actually like it that much. She still thought it was good, but she didn't really like it that much. And I'm like, the reasons why you didn't like it, because you got something that you weren't expecting, are the reasons I loved it. Is I love when I go into a theater, when I go sit down in a movie, and I'm like, this is what I'm about to watch. And it's not that at all. That's some of my favorite movie experiences and memories that I couldn't ever think of, man. And let me tell you what, I can't think of his name. I almost said Ryan Seacrest. That's definitely not his name. The male lead.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember his name too, because he's actually in Gray Man.
Yeah, he's super
the same dude.
Super famous guy that I can't come up with his name.
Yeah. What is his name? Ryan something?
I thought it was Ryan. I am blanking hard on this guy's name.
I got this.
All right. Definitely wasn't Ryan Seacrest. That's for sure.
No.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. If you look up Barbie on Google, by the way, it turns everything to pink.
That's cool. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you what, this is kind of like these two movies, Barbie and Oppenheimer, two movies that couldn't be any different than each other in any conceptual way, have stolen the movie theater industry. And they've embraced each other. Like, the fans of each other have embraced these movies together. People who watch Barbie immediately go to watch Oppenheimer, and vice versa. And I think that idea of togetherness is something really cool. I mean, I read a story. These two movies have made this the 6th most successful weekend in movie history.
That's insane. I
want to repeat that. In Hollywood history, the 6th most successful weekend. And instead of these two things not intersecting at all, and people go watch Oppenheimer, people go and watch Barbie, there's literally you go on TikTok, you go on social medias, it's called Barbenheimer. People are embracing both of these movies and watch them. Theaters have embraced it. They have double features of these movies one after another. And that's
cool.
And it's beautiful. Really cool.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and it's such like a deep meta level of like, Barbie is talking about, bringing your one true self out and bringing your human side out. And then for like the fans of these two movies to come together in a way and be like, we all can share in this together, and this phenomenon that is Barbenheimer. And by the way, I'm seeing Oppenheimer Wednesday. I can't fucking wait, dude. So
I'm seeing it Thursday.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, we'll definitely talk.
Every day was sold out for IMAX except for Thursday.
Oh, yeah. No. So both these movies are selling out like crazy.
I went to go see... I literally wasn't going to see Oppenheimer in any other way except for IMAX. They also had 70 millimeter, but I was like, I'm just going to do IMAX. I want to see
70 millimeter is the way the movie was shot, so that's technically the way the movie's supposed to be watched.
Yeah.
But I'm not paying.
I want to see it IMAX. I want that big screen.
Yeah, I'm not paying for that. So, there is an IMAX 70 millimeter theater in Nashville, but I am not driving 4 hours to go see this movie. I'm not that excited, but yeah, man. To wrap back around to my point, Barbie is the closest. I almost got to SG, but there's a couple scenes. There's one in particular that's a pretty pivotal part of the movie that I don't I don't know how they got there. I think they just kind of skipped some story stuff. They were like, people, it's a Barbie movie. People will figure it out. And I was pretty let down in that one pretty pivotal scene where I was like, okay, there's a pretty big moment, and I have no clue how we got there. So that wasn't well told. But the rest of it, man, and like I said, it's an acid trip. It really is. There's just random shit happening. Will Ferrell's in here doing some balls to the walls things. We're talking about freaking trans existence, different universes, different like existences. The movie's random as hell, but if you just sit there and you listen to what it's saying and you start diving in scene after scene to what the movie's talking about, you're going to get an experience that's worth remembering. And that's what I got, and I'm actually very happy to say that. So Greta Gerwig, my hat's off to you. You caught me by surprise more than any movie I can remember in recent memory. So good on you. I honestly would recommend this to you, Logan. And that
I went to go see it.
And
actually,
I just never thought I would say that. I'm like, hey, Logan, you should go see the new Barbie movie. Like, it's an experience, man. Like I said, it sucks that you had to hear it from me, what I feel like the movie's truly about, and you can't discover that for yourself. But maybe it'll give you some leeway to, like, kind of what and you can look for it more in the beginning scenes. It took me about 30 minutes to really start understanding what it was saying. So,
okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
What a movie, not a move.
All right. A last thing. We're gonna be talking about it later in this episode, but I think I've had the biggest nostalgia trip of a lifetime in these past 2 days. For a lot of people, they know I'm a big fan of Call of Duty, and recently, which we're going to be talking about this later. Microsoft, and I don't know if PlayStation did. All I know is just from the one line that Microsoft has fixed a lot of classic Call of Duty servers, and not just one, all of them. So you can go and literally play any classic Call of Duty right now. And wow, I gotta say, these last 2 days, I've been putting a lot of time into classic Call of Duty games, and it really just brings everything to light on some of the things that like modern gaming has taken away. And I'm like, man, like some things I will admit are way better nowadays. Like for example, I went back to play classic Mafia 2. I played a lot of this game back in the day. I mean, so much so that we played it on the PS3 originally because I didn't have it on the 360 until like later on. We played it so much that the disc broke. That's how much me and my brother played Mafia 2 Classic. Quite a bit. And it was just an amazing game. It's like one of my favorites. It's not the first ever online game I ever played. The first one I ever played was Call of Duty 4, which I still also absolutely love that game. That game is what got me into online gaming. Same for Left 4 Dead as well. Both of those were my first 2 games. But yeah, I've been going back and playing Mafia 2 Classic, and it's just so good. But I will make one thing I did notice with Mafia 2 Classic going back to it is, man, for some reason the what is it? What's the best way to say this? The reaction time, it feels off. And maybe it's because it's through backwards compatibility now. It feels like when I hit the thumbstick, it takes like a few seconds to actually do what I tell it to do, which I think is very weird because it's a downloaded game, it's through backwards compatibility, and it's actually the only Call of Duty I had this problem with. All the other ones I played and it was fine, but Mafia 2 Classic for some reason feels off. I don't know why. I mess with it a little bit, but it just feels weird. But it still was it was so much fun. I was having so much nostalgia going back to some of these classic maps, and playing with people, and also seeing all these people in game chat lobbies just, being classic people, saying very vulgar things, to say the least. I also went back and played World at War, which, by the way, is like one of my favorite Call of Duties of all time. And man, still plays so good to this day. It felt really good. It was super fun. I also went back and played Black Ops 2. That was super fun. my God, dude, that game, you could definitely tell how much the game started to feel better and better the more new they got. And I feel like Black Ops 2 was probably the best feeling one out of the bunch. It felt very smooth. It felt like every reaction that I had on the controller, I don't know how to describe it, it just felt right. And it was really good. It was really fun. And I'm just happy to see that they brought him back. It's really cool. I mean, I don't know how long this is going to go on for. So if you have a 360, an Xbox One, or a Series system, go on and play the Call of Duties. It's worth it. It's a good time. Yes, there are still some hackers. The first game I ever played in Modern Warfare 2, there was already a hacker. Which, by the way, if you hack in these games, dude, that's just sad. That's all I'm gonna say. That's a sad, sad life that you have. Because you
Touch
shouldn't
grass.
yeah, like literally go touch grass or move on. Like Jesus Christ, dude. Like what do you find enjoyment out of hacking old ass games? Like that's boring. So yeah, but it was only one match that I had that problem, which was very surprising to me because back in like I don't know, probably a couple of years ago, if I would go back to a classic Call of Duty, it seemed like every match was just hackers, hackers, hackers. But the last thing I did this week, that was
Oh no,
for
I just revealed my booty to the internet.
oh boy.
We're gonna get famous now. That would actually be that would make me feel good.
Yeah. My last thing I want to talk about that's a part of this nostalgia trip is last week or the week before that, the MCC was going to be getting some updates, and they're going to be bringing a lot of cut content from like
Master Chief
the
Collection.
Mac
I was
OS.
like, what the hell is
Yeah,
MCC?
Master Chief Collection. They're going to be adding a lot of cut content like the Halo 2 demo, the Halo Mac OS stuff, like before it was going to be an Xbox game. A lot of cool shit. And I'm pretty excited for that to all come out. So I ended up today getting on and playing a couple matches. And wow, talk about, I mean, dude, it was fun. I was having a good time. I was playing Halo 3 and I was playing some Halo 2 and Halo 1 as well. Um, dude, it just feels good. And it makes me so sad that Halo Infinite is such a fucking garbage pile of just blah. I wish it was so much. Well, I mean, supposedly Infinite. Whoa, oh, but
Sorry, my camera looked dirty, so I was trying to clean it.
I will say Halo Infinite is doing something really cool right now, and they are adding a lot of custom-made maps into their playlist. And some of those custom maps are Halo 3 maps, and that has me very excited. It kind of makes me want to go and actually try Halo Infinite again. But other than that, that pretty much ends my little nostalgia trip for the past few days. I've been just absolutely. No, you're good. I've just been absolutely enjoying going back and playing all these classic shooters. I don't know. It was just really nice. It was just a chill time. I wanted to experience this while I could because I don't know how long this Call of Duty nostalgia trip is going to go on before everyone moves on and just goes back to new games again. I know, especially when Game Pass officially starts getting all the old Call of Duties. That's also going to bring back a lot of people to play these for a little bit. Don't expect for a long time, but I do expect for a little bit. And I don't know. It's just if you do have a 360 on that, go do it. Go play it. Or if you have Halo MCC, go play that because it is like I will tell you, Halo MCC has made a lot of progress, and it actually is so much better than it used to be. And I mean, I was just having a damn good time. And I'm playing it on my PC, so I'm playing it like super high frame rates. And just to play Halo at very high frame rates is also very weird to me. But it's really cool. I was having a great time. I was kicking ass in Halo 3. But that's it. That's the end of my nostalgia trip. I just wanted to bring that up because it's just been great. And I love when a bunch of classic games start to get some light shined on them again. So it's cool.
Well, good for MCC. It only took them 10 years, so congratulations.
I mean, it's been good for a couple
Yeah,
years,
I know.
but
I'm just
I think
being
this
a
new
dick.
update is bringing a lot of people back. But I don't know if you heard me, but Halo Infinite actually is adding.
I heard you, yeah.
Well, not adding. They're adding a bunch of custom maps, but those custom maps are Halo 3 custom maps, and they're really good looking, and they're like very faithful to the original. Kind of makes me want to go play Halo Infinite just because of that reason. So,
Which is, I mean, look, that's great, but that just proves that the new Halos don't know what the fuck they're doing because
yeah.
everyone wants to go back and play
Yeah.
the old ones. So, look, that's awesome, and I'm happy for everybody, but maybe just make good maps moving forward.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on. That was a good lot of stuff. We did play a lot of games this week. It just happened to be pretty much one game. And we are going to talk about that game now. Guys, welcome to POTS, also known as our point of the show. It makes an appearance every once in a while when we have a topic that we want to delve deeper into than the regular topics. And that is a full-on, like we promised last week, a full-on Week 1 Exoprimal impressions. We're going to dive into it for a little bit here, talk about everything that we think right now. I would say what? We're 15 plus hours in at this point.
15, I think so. 15, I have no
16.
idea.
There's no game tracker. We've played a lot. I have to make an. I have to. What's it called when you admit to something? Confession. There we go. I have to make a confession. I played a couple games last night. All right, without you. I apologize. All right, I outriders you.
I'm only a little upset.
And here's the thing. I felt really bad because the moment I booted up, and this just confirmed that, the whole thing we were talking about, that if you have lower level players in your lobby, you don't move forward, immediately got story progression the moment I booted it up. So, and I had a really cool event. So I apologize for that. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was going to happen.
Now I'm going to bring you back to the old missions again because you decided to, well, I mean, I was also like technically 2 games ahead of you because of the dumb, we'll be talking about that, but that was like one day.
So I'm only level 36, so I think I'm caught up to you. Or maybe I'm one level, but I'm barely 36. I'm like fucking.
Okay.
Yeah, a millimeter of that progress bar. So
I think I'm around there. I'm either 34 or 35.
No, you're definitely not 34 because I stopped at 35, and I'm pretty sure you were 2 ahead of me during that one night.
Okay, yeah.
Well, either way, it doesn't matter. I didn't move on. I didn't finish the game without you. I played like 3 matches without you. I was just waiting to get ready for Barbie. So yeah, that's where it is. I'm 36. I'm pretty sure Logan's 36 too. If not, he's 35.
Yeah.
So we put a good amount of time into this game. So, what has changed from your opinions from last week? Because I do have some changes, but not a whole lot of changes.
Well, for first, big changes. We played a lot more, which is definitely going to change our opinion. I know. Well, I will say my opinion has changed. One thing that's changed in the game that we both ran into within the first 2 times we played, and that is the fact that I don't know exactly the full technical thing of what was happening, other than I could probably make a guess or a technical guess that all the cores in the CPU were not being utilized, and so now it seems like that is what's happening, and they fixed it, and so now I can actually utilize my entire PC while playing the game. So I'll tell you one thing that has changed my opinion is this game runs a lot better now, which is great. I'm happy they fixed that quicker than probably Redfall will ever fix their game. Oh wait, yeah, they still haven't probably fixed that game, so that ain't gonna ever happen. Other than that, the other thing, I don't know what else really changed other than maybe just like from the beta, like I really enjoyed it, and I still think this game actually does feel pretty good. Like I feel like if you have the one thing that Exoprimal does so well, and this isn't something new. There's been a lot of games. I mean, especially like probably one of the first games is like probably Battlefields or Team Fortress, stuff like that, where I feel like if you have a team that is very unbalanced or doesn't have all the roles met, you will fail. There is a very heavy thing on you having a set kind of specific type of team, and everyone needs to play their roles correctly, which isn't a negative. That is a huge positive, in my opinion, because I love that. It makes everyone actually want to do their roles properly if they want to win. For example, we've had a few matches where we've had some support people who didn't exactly do the support. So it's great when you do have a team that really synergizes together and you get some clutch matches like the other night we played where we were doing the hammer mission and we all went down and I just randomly was able to take them all out with my ultimate and we clutched it and we won because we went from like having 10%, they had 60%. They were way ahead of us, and then we just demolished at the end. And I thought that was awesome. That was like one of the key moments I think of what we played so far. That was an amazing match.
Well, the other night
Um,
also where we just fucking stonewalled them at the end.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah,
could not get past us. You know, once I got the
yeah.
samurai guy, man, let me tell you, he's a
But
good
yeah,
character.
I think so. I will say, um, the weird thing about this game, and I can understand why it can be a problem, is going into it firsthand and looking at it for what it is immediately. It's kind of a lot like, in my opinion, a lot like Smash Ultimate in a sense, where you don't have all the characters unlocked, but the more you play, the more it expands and it gets bigger and bigger, and the more you unlock things and stuff. And that's kind of what this game is going for very heavily. It seems like the more you play, the more there is to it, which is very weird because and I can't say that's a huge positive for them because I can understand why people wouldn't be playing it as long as we have, and they'd probably be like, yeah, this game doesn't have much to it. And I wouldn't still say there's a ton to it, but it does seem like the more and more you play, the more and more they add to it, the more and more different like I mean I know recently we got to at least one new environment that wasn't there previously. And I know there's a lot of other stuff that Mike said that we get to later on in the game. Um, so I do kind of like that, but I also won't give it a full positive for that because it's kind of annoying that like you have to play for an excessively long time, in my opinion, to get new content. The new content should be coming out a lot quicker. Like if you maybe did like every 2 to 3 matches, something new came. That would be a little bit more of a positive, in my opinion. But we played like 20 matches and then we finally got something new. So it's kind of a bit excessive on how long it takes to get new stuff, especially to unlock the actual exosuits that we have. They take a bit of time. I mean, Mike just finally got the character he wanted to play, and we played for 15 to I don't know how many hours. Let's just say 15 hours. That's a pretty excessive amount of time just to get a new character. And it's even more of like a scummy thing to do when you're like, "Oh, but you could pay for the starter kit and you could get them all unlocked just like that." And I'm like, "That's dumb." Just keep them unlocked for everyone from the beginning because the progression is built into you using these exos. And it also has one thing that I do think is a positive compared to what actually, well, no, I think Overwatch you could do this. Okay, well, maybe not that, but I do think it's a positive in that you don't want to just be good at one exo the entire time. You kind of want to be good at a little bit more than one, especially with the fact that they have this not probably brand new mechanic, but it has a mechanic where you could switch between exosuits on the fly. Not like immediately, there is a little bit of a timer in between, so you can't just like jump between 15 different suits in like a few seconds. Like you have to choose it and then you have to stick with it for a little bit, and then if you want to change back, you can. And I kind of like that. And I feel like that's a strategy that a lot of people have slowly been learning and actually doing more of. And I think I might be utilizing that more too, because the other day when we were playing matches, actually, I did utilize that because I had to defend a point where everybody moved on. So I switched from my medic class to an assault class so I could defend the point. And then as soon as that point was taken or you guys needed me to switch roles, I just switched back to the medic. And it's kind of a cool mechanic. It adds a little bit of strategy to it. Again, not a huge positive. It may not even be that brand new, but it's a cool little mechanic. And I just want to say, in general, I know I'm rambling on. I think I've been having a good time. I know I definitely do not think it's a great game. I especially do not think this game is worth $60. No way will I ever say this is worth $60 this game. Even with all the new stuff you unlock after playing a long time, I don't think this is worth $60. It is just it's too little content for the type of game, and it seems like they're trying to make this obviously a live service game where they're going to constantly be adding stuff, and it just seems like too little content at the beginning, and that's just not good. I don't think that's a great thing. That's honestly, in my opinion, what makes a good live service game is you start off with a lot of stuff and then you give us more stuff. Don't just like drip feed us literally straight up. Like you took a fucking pie and you cut it in 8 slices, whatever, and you gave us 4 slices. And now we gotta wait for the other bit of slices to come out every like
I would say they
whatever
gave
month
us
or so.
like
maybe 3.
I was gonna say 1.5.
Maybe probably 1.5.
They didn't
so,
give
like,
us a lot here.
No, and that's my biggest negative is the lack of content. I think everything else is kind of fun. Like, it is a very casual, chill, play with your friends, but also there is some competitiveness in there, and some very great strategy and team building in there, and it's very fun. And again, I've been having a lot of fun playing this. I know Mike's been enjoying himself. He definitely has changed his opinion since, like, I remember when it got first revealed, he's like, "This game looks fucking stupid. Why do you like this, Logan?" I'm like, "I don't know. It just looks cool. You're shooting dinosaurs in an exosuit." And, I can't say I got exactly everything I was wanting out of this game for that. Especially surprised me when we got to the beta and it was different than what I was expecting. I still think it is a fun game. And again, if you have Game Pass, I mean, if you already got Game Pass, go download it. It's worth it. But I won't give it the benefit of the doubt for that. I still think it's a negative because, like, just because it's coming to Game Pass doesn't mean you just get a free pass from criticism. You literally, this is a $60 game without Game Pass, and it just doesn't make up for the lack of content. And this is probably one of the weakest Capcom games they've released this year. I don't think that's a controversial statement whatsoever.
I was going to say in the past 5 years, dude.
Yeah. It's a pretty, but I do think there is some fun to be had in this game, especially either casually or in some ways pretty competitive. In general, it's just a good time. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
So
to kind of bounce off what Mr. Birdman was saying, this game doesn't do itself any favors. It doesn't make it easy to love. And saying that, you think, oh, Mike loves it. No, Mike doesn't love it. I like it. I enjoy it. But it does take a commitment to get to the butterfly of it. To finish off that analogy, this game starts off as a caterpillar, and you have to put the work in and the time in to get to that butterfly stage. And I don't know if you're gonna be mad. You probably will because we didn't experience it together. Again, it's not my fault. I just wanted to play a game or two.
No, I'm not mad.
No, I haven't gotten to the part that you might be mad at yet. I just wanted to play a game or two just to catch up in levels to Logan, so we're at the same level base and all that. And I just wanted to burn, an hour or so till I got to go see the movie. First match I booted up, I got the raid boss.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I've experienced the raid boss. And look, you can be mad at me. Put the fucking anger on Andrew. He's slacking. He's not keeping up with us. It's his fault. And Andrew, I know you're listening.
Yes.
I understand you're listening. I appreciate everything that you've done. You've stayed consistent listening to us. We love that. You're a great friend. Put the time in, man. we got to get you through this thing, all right? But yes, it is clearly based on your entire group of people that you're playing with, what you get. And if you are playing with lower level people, you're just going to boot into the beginning of the game. And that's not fun for people who have put in 20 plus hours. Or in our case, 15 to 20, whatever it is. It is like, oh, we're going to go through these 4 missions and then do the fucking Q push. Which the Q push is getting very boring because we figured out the strategy of how to win and we just repeat endlessly. And we usually don't lose those. The ones we do lose are the point ones. We've only won 1 point battle. I don't know why we suck at those ones so much. We're just not good at that one. But the Q battle, I can't remember the last time we lost a Q battle.
We did lose one.
I think we lost one. It was probably Andrew's fault. But yeah, so I have experienced the raid battle. I will say it's pretty cool. It's not necessarily difficult. You got 10 characters. I mean, 10 people all coming together. We had like 3 healers, like 3 or 4 tanks, assault classes. Like, it wasn't hard. You do have a limited amount of respawns, so you can only die up to 30 times, and you can fail it theoretically. But you only get that when you're with higher level players, so everyone knows what they're doing. And it's, I don't know. Maybe if they introduce that to like maybe some small level players, and pretty much it's like you're not gonna win this the first time you boot into it. This is what you have to work towards. Maybe that's something they could have changed, but Yeah, the progression, it's ambiguous. That's not the right word. Ambiguous. Ambiguous. There we go. Jesus.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, the progression and how you get to those cool moments is not explained to you in any regard. The only reason I know this is because I've listened to other people. The best way to play your characters and really how to build them, that's not explained to you. Shit, sometimes from the main menu, you can't even figure out what, like, all the characters do, like, abilities do. You have to boot into a training match and then look at it. And there's just a lot of things that's wrong, which is why I say the game does not do itself any favors at all. It does not make it. It makes it very difficult to like/love this game. And if you do put the time in, if you do get to those cool moments, if you do level up your characters, and you start coming to grips with what the game is, how to play it, it can be a decent amount of fun. I'm not gonna say it's a lot of fun. Logan and I have had some cool moments, some cool standoffs, some cool comebacks, but we've also played 15 or 20 games where we just go through the motions and whatever. We're just doing this, right? Nothing new's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, the other night we played what, 8 matches and nothing happened because you weren't getting any story progression because we were playing with lower level players. Nothing transpired. We played an entire evening and nothing moved forward. And I think that is where the game is kind of faltering because you got to make it known what you're working towards. I don't know why they didn't explain how to get the cool stuffs and how to get to the cool stuff in this game. Like if you would have said, hey, if you have a group of friends, you all play together. Once you get to certain levels and all that, the game expands. You get new missions, new dinosaurs show up, and that's how you progress in this game. And if they would have said that, cool. We all know. We know we got to put in the time. We all understand that. But they didn't say any of that. You got to go out and find outside sources for that. So I think that's, like Logan said, that is the biggest negative. Is the progression system is not technically bad on like an objective viewpoint. They just don't let you know how to do anything in this game. And I think that fails. That's fine in something like Elden Ring that's purposely ambiguous. Go figure it out yourself. In a multiplayer competitive match where maybe somebody on the other team has figured it out and you haven't, it seems a little bit unfair, Just because they've watched a YouTube video that you haven't yet. It's not like they figured out a game mechanic before you did because the game doesn't tell you the mechanic. They just watched somebody who knew what they were doing. And in that, it feels a pretty significant letdown.
It's also kind of funny because it kind of, for the style of game that this is, and it's a fully just like, I don't know, it's like what is it? It's called a hero shooter, I guess is what you would call it. A hero / horde shooter game. And it kind of is funny because, like, not only is it a live service game, but it's a live service game within a live service game where they're drip feeding you content within the game. Playing it, the more you get to it, the more you actually get more exciting content or different content. And then you also have the fact that there's already a lack of content because they haven't added everything yet. So it's a live service within a live service. And that's great.
It's like there is cool stuff coming. I just they just announced a whole new set of alpha characters coming to each and every exosuit. So, like for example, Zephyr, his alpha suit now focuses on chakras, and he's a ranged kind of assault class. So those are coming in, I think, a week or 2 weeks. So there is cool stuff coming, but I mean, I think with just the absolute lack of content, lack of explaining, lack of people knowing. I mean, Logan and I talked about the Steam numbers. This thing peaked at just over 4,000, which is awful. It's absolutely awful. Now
that's not great at
that
all.
doesn't include obviously PlayStation and Xbox players. That's just Steam charts, but that is kind of like a good sequitur for how well the game is doing on at least one platform. And I haven't changed my tune that I think this game was put out to die. I don't think this game has a big chance of surviving, regardless of how good we think it is or not. I think this is one of them games that's going to be around for about a year, and they're just going to turn it off after a while because no one stays playing. Unless they just start coming out with like banger after banger of updates. Like, oh, here's your August update where we're getting these new characters. Maybe in September we get a couple new modes, new ways to play. November they surprise us with like, hey, here's a story campaign. That's not going to happen, but that would be wild. But yeah, they're going to have to really go full throttle on this content drops if they want to keep us around. If they pull the Marvel's Avengers and we get characters 4 months after we were supposed to get characters, this game is deader than dead. So, but
Yeah,
all
I
that's sorry, all that out of the way.
no,
To answer the question that we posed last week, simple yes or no, gun to the head, family in trouble. Is this game fun? Yes, it is. And that's all I have to say.
yeah, it's I agree. I want this game to be, have more stuff to it and add more stuff, and I want it to be better, but I don't know. It's just like I feel like they started off way too weak with this game, and if they do have all this stuff planned, it's like I don't know, maybe half of that planned content should have just been in here since day one, and then you can add more. And that's why it's just so weak right now. It just doesn't have, and I am really enjoying it, and I want this game to be better than it is, but it just, yeah, like for right now, like it's just not worth the $60 price tag. It is obviously worth it if you have Game Pass, but like I don't know. I want it to be better than it is, and I hope they can find a way to maybe make this even have at least a small audience of success. Which I do think they have caught on at least some people and enjoying it. But the other side is that I don't know for how long can they keep that small group of people. And so that's where they need to really just step it up. This new update that's coming out, I think Friday or something like that. It better be a good one because yeah, they really need to hit
I
hard.
think that update is only introducing like a new mode of play, and then the alpha update is coming early August.
Okay.
Exoprimal roadmap. Let me see what they got going for us here. Exoprimal roadmap explained. Oh, okay, so it's a little worse than I thought. Yeah, on July 28th, Savage Gauntlet mode will come, a new co-op game mode. On August 17th is where the new 10 alpha variants to the existing Exoprimal suits will be made available. And they also apparently have weekly rotating PvE missions designed for replayability during the end game. So when you get through everything, then there's hopefully other stuff to play. And I have heard there's a decent end game to be played as, so... And like I gotta say, I watched a whole video on the alpha update, and they seem cool. It seemed like they completely retool characters and how to change them. I mean, Deadeye has a shotgun and a burst rifle instead of an assault rifle. Um, Murasame, my character, is only like really the only disappointing one. It changes his counter into a freeze counter. That's kind of lame. But the Witch Doctor, his alpha character now fires a beam that heals or hurts enemies depending on where it hit, and it's a continuous beam, so the longer you stay on target, the more damage / healing it does. So that's cool. That changes him up and like solves one of the Witch Doctor's problem, which he has no range at all. So like I think what they have coming to us is good. I do not think it is enough at all. Like I don't think it's anywhere close to enough based off what the game started with. So I don't know. We'll see, man.
Yeah, because I don't even know they on their roadmap like they have a season 2 and season 3 already announced, but like they don't have dates for season 2 or season 3 at all. Um, and yeah, it seems like again they're not adding enough for each season. Like the second season is only going to add one new map, which again I guess we haven't gotten to the end of the story, so I don't know how many exactly total maps there's going to be because we've only gotten like I've only seen one more new map since we played, and that was like after like 12, 13 hours of playing the game. So I don't know, maybe there's more to it. I mean, you said you did a raid boss, so I don't know if that's a new map. But yeah, they're
No.
only adding one new map in season 2, which is not great. People get when people keep this is a game that you replay a lot over and over and over again, and seeing the same maps over and over again can get very tedious. So like you need more than just one new map.
By the way,
And also
season two will launch mid-October and last until January.
okay, yeah, because the only other thing you're getting season 2 is a fucking collaboration.
Oh, you are getting a new
Cool.
final mission, so whatever that entails. So it
Oh yeah,
says,
yeah.
yeah, the Street
New
Fighter 6
rigs,
collaboration.
modules, and a new final mission.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, then season 3, you get beta exosuits, so I guess that's cool.
We
A
got the
Neo
alpha, the beta.
Triceratops, yeah. And then another collaboration. So, I don't know. I feel like they're jumping a little too early in the collaboration thing. I think they should focus on making their game. Then you can add all these collaborations,
I'll
but
be
whatever.
here when you give me the Resident Evil collaboration.
That would be kind of cool. I'm surprised it's not like one of the first few ones. So,
I'm not gonna lie, I am excited to play as Mecha Ryu though. That's awesome. I don't know what character skin he's gonna be in, like how you're gonna get him, but I may actually pay for that because I'm a schlub.
that's
But
fair.
all right, man. Let's. I think we've talked well enough about Exoprimal. Like I said, it is good. I wish they would have told us exactly how to do things so we knew what we were working towards. It's still kind of ambiguous, and we're figuring things out as we go. Which I said can work for certain types of games. I don't think it works for a live service multiplayer game. This idea of being ambiguous, you just got to figure it out. Like I don't think that works really well. The community wants to know what's in here, what we have to work towards, why are we playing it, and I think they missed the mark heavily on that. Well, they didn't even miss the mark; they forgot to shoot. But
Yeah.
uh, again, overall, is it enjoyable if you put the time in? If you have a group of friends to play with, yes. Now, is this enjoyable by yourself? I have no clue. I mean, I played 2 matches by myself, so I have
That's fair.
zero clue if this is fun without friends. So I'm not going to give you any sort of if facto statement on that because I have no clue. But all right, that was Potts around the point. A pretty middling impression, I would say, overall in the game. But like I said, it is still enjoyable. You have to commit the time. And I don't know if that's the best thing they could have done. But we're gonna go now to around the point. We got a big around the point. We're gonna try to fly through some of these, give you our analysis on what we think is going on around the industry, and we have a special reaction to a emoji fire of a trailer from Sony and Insomniac. So look forward to that. Stay tuned. Welcome to Around the Point, where we here at the Experience Point go around the video game world and give you the news that you need to know about. Number one on Around the Point. If you thought the APK acquisition by Microsoft is over, it's not. We're still here. We're still doing things. But it came out this week that Microsoft, or better, Xbox and PlayStation, Sony have joined hands at the dinner table. Thankfully so. Anyway, earlier this week, Phil Spencer took to Twitter to post that he has signed a binding agreement to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation following the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. He says we look forward to a future where players globally have more chance to play their favorite games together. And if you paid attention to the FTC trial, this is something that, while all my criticisms of Phil Spencer and how he's doing things, he has not wavered from the idea that they have, at least in the foreseeable future, they do not have any plans to take Call of Duty away, which, again, they would neuter the sales of Call of Duty if they did. That would be a very dumb decision, but good on them. In his testimony during the FTC trial, he did say on the stand, under oath, he says, "I am making a commitment standing here that we will not pull Call of Duty. It is my testimony from PlayStation," Spencer said. As you said, Sony obviously has to allow us to ship the game on their platform, but absent any of that, my commitment is, and my testimony is here today, that we will continue to ship future versions of Call of Duty on Sony's PlayStation 5. And of course, the internet read into that, but like, well, what about Sony's PlayStation 6? Why would Xbox make that commitment? That's dumb. Shut up. Later on in the week, we did figure out that this is, in fact, the 10-year proposal to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation in the agreement, which is different from what the original proposed agreement was, that all Activision consoles would stay on Sony, including future versions of the Call of Duty franchise and any other Activision franchise on Sony through December 31st, 2027. That was the first agreement. That no longer is the agreement. The agreement is now. Call of Duty is not going everywhere for at least a decade. Logan, what do you think, man? Is it kumbaya? Hell no. These two companies do not like each other. But it is them coming together.
Yeah, I mean, it's
in some
what I
way.
expected. I already had a feeling this was going to be a thing. It's not a surprise whatsoever. Honestly, I mean, Sony's kind of lucky because They kept pushing away this deal, kept not wanting to do it, and you're damn lucky Microsoft is cool because they're like, yeah, sure, we'll still do the deal. Like that's it. I think they did technically have a better deal at the beginning of the court cases, but because they kept saying no and tried to stand down from this, I think they technically got a worse deal here. I don't remember the original deal, but I think there was some other bonus little things in there. But now it's just a 10-year deal, which is fine. I don't care. Like, and also don't be worried about the 10-year deal. It's just every company signs contracts and they're never just forever. They don't just say forever. They say years. They always give it a couple years. So don't worry after 10 years from now if Call of Duty is going to get taken away. I doubt it's going to get taken away. But who knows? Maybe in 10 years Call of Duty isn't a thing anymore. So I don't know. I'm just saying that I don't think people should be worried about this. And cool. I'm happy that both of them finally come to an understanding and there'll be no problems. So cool.
There's always going to be problems with these two companies. They don't like each other.
Yeah.
I do have a response to the internet trolls out there who are trying to rip on Sony. Like, oh, what are you, crawling back with your knees, your tail between your legs? It's like, no, they fought and they lost. Like, that shit happens. Fighters fight each other. One wins and one loses. You shake hands afterwards and you move on with your life. Like, I've always said since the beginning of this, I don't understand the criticism of Sony fighting this. Why would they not?
Oh, no, I know.
They would be a terrible business if they didn't. Yeah. If PlayStation was buying Activision, Microsoft better fight this, or I would think very little of them as a company. Like, they had a due diligence to at least try to stop it the best that they could, because this affects them in a momentous way in terms of their greater business strategy. So they fought, they lost. Let's shake hands and move on. And again, do these two companies like each other? Fuck no. These two companies hate each other. So,
yeah.
But, PlayStation put up a fight. And in my opinion, they put up a pretty damn good fight. I mean, they drug this out longer than any of us anticipated. And they lost. So you shake hands, and now PlayStation's got to go figure out what they're going to do moving forward. Which is make God of War and still sell a shit ton of copies. So make Spider-Man and sell a shit ton of copies. So that's what the future's going to be. So I know whether this continues on in PlayStation 6 and beyond, who knows? We'll find out then. And, if Microsoft in 10 years comes back around and decides to pull Call of Duty from PlayStation moving forward, if we're still a thing, the XP podcast is still a thing, we'll bring that to you then. And that'll be a story. And I'll throw out my criticisms. Logan will throw out his criticisms, and we'll come back then. But for right now, at least the Xbox and Sony battle is over. Xbox finally got one. Took them a decade, but they finally got one over. Good on you, Microsoft. Now, please fucking make Perfect Dark. I'm sick and tired of waiting.
Please.
Please make Perfect Dark. Quit floundering. All right. One more little news about the Activision Microsoft deal. It did not get passed by July 28th like the original, July 18th like the original deadline. We said it probably would, but they have decided to push on back the deadline for the deal 3 months to October 18th. And mostly the reason is so Microsoft and Blizzard can continue their dealings with the CMA to try to get it passed over there before the deal officially goes through. They want to have everybody on board, rightfully so. I don't know why they wouldn't want to have everybody on board. So that's the only thing I have on that.
Yeah.
I didn't have too much on that. I just didn't want to throw it in. So the deadline is pushed back 3 months. We're still not there yet. Hopefully we can get this deal done and move on with our lives, and everyone go back to criticizing God of War for its boat animations. I don't know what y'all do out there. I have no fucking clue. By the way, Logan, go play Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
It's good,
I will
man.
at some point.
It's
but I got too many games coming out, so it'll probably be like a next year thing.
You don't have anything right now. You have a whole month before you got anything coming out.
I have Zelda still.
You're not ever gonna finish Zelda until
you're
gonna finish Zelda before the next one comes out. I guarantee you it. I'll put money on it.
That's fair. Maybe. I don't know. See. I want to beat it by this year, but if I don't beat it by September, it's not going to get beat this year. That's just the truth of it.
Yeah. The deadline's interesting. October 18th. What comes out 2 days after October 18th?
Spooderman?
Spooderman comes out 2 days after October 18th. I don't think there's any connection there at all.
No.
But of course, the internet does. So the internet's a wild place, man. I don't even like it that much. I know we're technically on the internet, but I don't really like the internet anymore. Do you?
Do I like the internet?
Just in general, yeah. Do you
I
like on the
mean,
internet?
I enjoy parts of the internet, yeah.
Which parts?
Parts that matter.
Doom, 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 doom. I wish I had
yeah.
the sound clip queued up for that. By the way, if you didn't get it by my terrible representation, I was doing the Pornhub intro.
What was it?
I was doing the Pornhub intro, but
Oh my god.
it's my favorite part of the internet.
Very well done.
It was awful, dude. The only reason I told you that is because I was like, "There's no way he got what I was going for there," because I don't even think I would have got what I was going for. It's my favorite part of the internet right there, man. All right, let's move it on. We got some Call of Duty stuff to talk about. It makes me so happy to talk about Call of Duty. Let me tell you. But
Yeah.
I was joking, by the way. It does not make me happy. So, anyway, we've gotten some news. Obviously, the Call of Duty 360 versions, we'll talk about that momentarily. But we got some news on Call of Duty 2024 and 2023. According to a leak first spotted on Insider Gamer by apparently actor and singer. I don't know what that means. But Mr. Luke Stafford reported on Facebook that Activision decided to adapt the next main character Ratchet for Call of Duty off my face and likeness. That makes sense now. Should have read the story, but I didn't. I am elated, he said. Stafford reportedly said in a post which has been screen capped but is no longer on the Facebook page. To all my college roommates back at Anderson University in those years in Smith Hall playing Call of Duty Black Ops 2, next year we can beat the snot out of each other again. Insider Gaming reports that Stafford also shared several images and videos of himself on the set with the scanning rig, as well as saying hello to what seems to be a member of the Call of Duty team. Rumors are now the main character's name suggests that Call of Duty 2024 will take place during the Gulf War and is speculated to be a sequel to Black Ops Cold War titled Black Ops Gulf War. And that's all we got from Mr. Luke Stafford, who I'm sure Activision is very happy with right now. You just posted this shit on Facebook, you buffoon. But
Buffoon.
Buffoon. Well, I can't say the R word, so he's a buffoon. But yeah, what do you think, man? Call of Duty Black Ops Gulf War. You excited?
Sure.
Well, let's see what IGN has to say. We got a yes/no poll. I'm going to say yes. 66.4% say yes, they are excited for Call of Duty going to the Gulf War. I mean, credit where credit's due. Outside of all my personal criticisms, the Gulf War is a time period that doesn't get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 90s. We're not that far removed from the Gulf War. It's 1991. True. It's when I was born. Man, I'm old.
Yeah, I am very curious about that, actually. Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool. I don't know. I have more, as long as they make a good zombies mode, I'm happy. So, that's all I want.
Will I play Call of Duty 2024? I don't know. I'll
Possibly.
see you in 2024. I have no clue yet. I don't know where I'm at with Call of Duty. I'm kind of stuck in a rut currently. But that's not all. We've gotten some new teases for Call of Duty and the possible reveal. In a post on Twitter on Tuesday, the official Call of Duty account said that the first details are about to be revealed at an event to be posted soon. Look for the details about the redacted reveal event and Season 5 announcement and additional Modern Warfare 2 carry forward details soon, the post says. As far as what those details will be, it's not currently known in an official capacity. However, Insider Gaming has had exclusive details about the next Call of Duty game, which is slated to be Modern Warfare 3. With the reveal of the next Call of Duty game coming soon, leaks have also stated to make their way out. According to now DMCA images, the Ninja Perk, the classic minimap, and more will be returning to the game. Yada, yada, yada. No one cares. The reveal is set reportedly for October 6th. No, sorry. The reveal is set for August with a beta for October 6th through the 10th and October 12th through the 16th. With the game rumored to be releasing on November 10th. I mean, all this lines up with Call of Duty, so.
Yeah. Wait, this is the next Call of Duty that's coming out?
Yep.
I thought it was Modern Warfare 3.
I said 3. Did I not say 3? I said that.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. Right. Never mind. I misheard everything. You're good.
It's fine.
Very good.
But what do you think? I don't know. I am a casual Call of Duty fan, so is the Ninja Perk important?
For the people out there, yeah, they want to basically not be heard whatsoever with their footsteps. They basically don't like footsteps at all, from what I could tell. Well,
What?
some people don't. Some people, I can understand some criticism that like some of the footstep sounds are a bit loud, like they don't exactly make sense how loud they are. But also, I don't know. I don't think that I don't know. I think it's fine. If it gets in there, it's not a big deal. And it is a big deal for a lot of people because they want to have the option to lighten the sound of their footsteps. As long as it's not too OP and it doesn't make the footstep sounds go away completely, I don't care. I just, it is whatever. I also just don't care either way. I'm not one of those people who are like, I have to have my footsteps be super quiet. Like the fact that you have to have that, like, I don't know, it's kind of lame. So it's whatever.
What do you think about this classic mini map? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I don't know if you played well, you haven't played any other Call of Duty except it's probably Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 had a classic mini map. Classic mini map
I have
is
played World War II. I have played
okay,
Infinite Warfare. I have played.
multiplayer or just a campaign?
Oh no, I didn't fucking touch multiplayer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so the classic mini map is when you shoot a gun without a silencer. Oh, he's not even listening to me. This bitch. Look at this guy. Just doesn't even listen to me. I'm gonna wait till he comes back. Yeah,
I am
I'm gonna
listening to
wait.
you. I want
Oh.
something to drink. I'm sorry I'm asking for some sort of sustenance. My mouth is dry. I've been talking for an hour and 50 minutes.
Okay,
My
so you're still
apologies. Shit, I've
listening.
been stuffed on at me. Ow.
Okay,
That actually
so
hurt. That, like, the
yeah,
head hit my
you know,
chesticle.
but okay, so
I
the
am
classic
listening.
minimap is basically whenever you use an unsilenced weapon, it would show up on the minimap. That's what the classic minimap was. So basically, what they took away in Modern Warfare 2019 and Modern Warfare 2 specifically, when you shoot a weapon with or without, or no, so what was it? So you, no matter what you use, you don't show up on the mini map. So if you shoot silence or unsilence, you don't show up on the mini map. And basically, the only way to see people in the mini map was through UAV. And so that's why a lot of people didn't like that because they felt like it was encouraging camping, which is fair. But also, there's the other side where some people are like, yeah, but like it also like if you have everything on the mini map constantly, then there's no like strategy or anything like that. Um, I don't know. Again, I can understand both sides of it. If they had classic minimap back, again, I wouldn't complain. I actually going back and playing the original Call of Duty games. I didn't really pay attention to the minimap all the time, but it does have its uses, especially for people that like to camp. I do see the use in that, like, if someone's camping and they're staying in the same place on the minimap, you can basically find them because they're constantly shooting in this one area. But if you have a silencer on, then no matter what, that doesn't matter. So, but you also lighten the damage of your weapon. So it's kind of a trade-off. So I can understand, and honestly, I kind of agree on that one. I do kind of like the classic minimap a little bit more. So,
All right, so what's our stance here on the XP podcast? I'm gonna let you figure out our stance. What's our stance here on what is just a blatant lie that Call of Duty was going to take a break because we're getting one in 2023 and 2024. So, what is your
I'm
stance
kind of
on that, man?
annoyed. I'm really annoyed because clearly they fucking haven't learned a single thing. Um, but yeah, I don't want them to do this because they've been struggling for literally years now. Like, literally, call the Cold War. Um, hell out of here. Okay, Call of Duty Cold War literally couldn't even finish its campaign. It had to have a different company, which was Ravensoft, whatever it was. They had to make the campaign for them. Where Vanguard, they had for their third mode, they had to have Treyarch come in to finish the zombies, which I still refuse to believe that because that zombie mode was garbage. Never played it, but it looked like garbage. But uh, I just feel like these companies are actually kind of struggling to keep up. Games are getting bigger and bigger. You need to let these three companies have their time. You have a live service game. Let the game go on for 2 years. It's fine. You will be fine. You just, heck, if anything, people will be getting more for what they paid for if you let it sit for 2 years. You will constantly be updating it. They'll have a lot of content by the time it ends, and then people can move on, and for the next Call of Duty or whatever, if they choose to do so. And I understand why there's 3 different companies, because everybody has their preference of which Call of Duty company makes their Call of Duty. Like, for example, we have well, I can't think.
I don't think that anybody
Worthy literally only likes to play Treyarch games.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody has the preference of Sledgehammer. I don't.
No,
I don't think
yeah,
so.
You're right. Sledgehammer made one decent Call of Duty. I liked Advanced Warfare quite a bit. I thought it was really, really cool. So, I honestly, if they went back to Advanced Warfare, I'd be down for it. I think it'd be kind of cool. But yeah, I even liked World War II in some ways. I know that's controversial, but I liked World War II in many ways. I did not like Vanguard, which was another World War II game. That's actually the only Call of Duty I've never purchased or played. So that actually is the only one. So
I'm fairly confident that if they went back to something akin to Advanced War, the Call of Duty community would fucking blow a gasket.
There's actually a lot of people that are pretty excited about them bringing back Advanced Warfare.
Really? Because everyone hated the whole futuristic Call of Duty stuff.
Well, they hated it because every Call of Duty started to do it instead of everyone being their own different thing.
There was only 3.
Advanced Warfare is the one that started it. Then it went to Black Ops 3, who did Future again. And then Infinity Ward made Infinite Warfare. And it's like, dude, like...
That's what I'm saying. There's only 3. It's like, how picky can we be? Like, there's only...
Well,
if you think about
Call of Duty...
Go ahead. Sorry.
So the biggest reason why is because, let's be honest here, Call of Duty fans don't like that. They don't. Like, let's be frank here, like, that's what Halo's for. That's why all these other shooters are there for. But Call of Duty's always been about either past war stuff or modern warfare stuff. That's what it's been. That's what it, like, I mean, honestly, Call of Duty wouldn't be popular if it wasn't for modern warfare. And so, I don't think people really want the Future Warfare stuff. I stopped caring when the Future Warfare stuff are coming out. Like, Advanced Warfare was really fun because it was really different and interesting. But when Black Ops 3 came out, I absolutely despised that game. I know it's like one of the most popular games. Everyone loves it. And I'm like, I don't like it. I think the zombies mode is super convoluted. It sucks. I think the campaign made no sense. It was just bad. I do like, though, that it was co-op campaign, which I do think is very underrated, and I wish more Call of Duties did that. But multiplayer, I also just hated. It sucked. It also started to introduce all this hero shooter stuff, and I hated the hero shooter stuff. I didn't like it in Black Ops 3. I didn't like it in Black Ops 4. I didn't even play Infinite Warfare's multiplayer because, again, I didn't care for it. So it's just hero shooter stuff should stick out of Call of Duty stuff. I hated that.
One of my favorite Call of Duties. I love Black Ops 3.
I just didn't like it, man. I don't know.
I don't know why. I like hero shooters. I don't know why. Like, I like the whole...
I like hero shooters. I don't like Call of Duty being a hero shooter. I like Call of Duty being Call of Duty. Call of Duty is Call of Duty. I don't want Call of Duty to be a different genre. Call of Duty is supposed to be well, in some ways, arcadey shooter. That's what they are. Not a hero shooter. Hero shooters should be in a different game. If they want to make a hero shooter, then Activision... oh, wait, they did. It's called Overwatch. Go play Overwatch. So literally, there's Overwatch if you want hero shooters, and then there's Call of Duty if you want Call of Duty. I want Call of Duty to be Call of Duty. Now, I do like it when Call of Duty gets a little wacky sometimes. Like, I think Advanced Warfare was wacky. It was interesting. The exosuit premise was just kind of weird, but it was kind of fun. Not saying it was a perfect game, but I think out of all of the... What is that company called? I already forgot. Sledgehammer. I think it's probably one of the best ones they've made. Other than I did like World War II only for one specific mode. And that was the war mode, which I thought was really cool. And it reminded me of Battlefield's Rush mode. And it was unique. It was exciting. I especially love the D-Day one. That was awesome. Everything else, I can understand why people didn't like it. Campaign was pretty good. It was all right. The zombies mode, surprisingly, for how cool it looked, not great. I did not enjoy it. And normal multiplayer, like 6v6 and all that, just wasn't great. I also hated the loot box thing. And that's another thing I despise Black Ops 3 for. The fucking loot boxes,
I
dude.
spent way too much money on those fucking
God, it's
things, dude.
so dumb, dude. Like, especially. A lot of people want to complain about battle passes, but man, I'd rather take a lesser evil than the greater one, and that's fucking the greater evil was loot boxes. I
That's true.
hate loot boxes, and I despise them with every fiber of my being because it's so dumb to come out with a overpowered weapon and then shove it into a fucking loot box, and then guess what? If you're the lucky one to get that in the loot box, you're gonna be the overpowered person in the entire match because you're gonna have the best weapon in the game, but no one else can unlock it. That's where I like battle pass or even challenge based ways to unlock the weapon because that is so much better. Even if it's like the egregious like 25 matches of 3 kills, I would much rather that than loot boxes any day. Any day. Not saying I'm happy with what they're doing now, but I'd much rather that. Much rather that.
Gotta be honest, it feels like Sledgehammer doesn't even want to make Call of Duty. They want to make something else. I don't know, it feels like that. It's just like when a Sledgehammer game comes out, sorry, it just feels like such a different game that to me it just reads as they really don't want to be making Call of Duty. They want to just, I mean, they probably want to make a first-person shooter, but they want to just go do something different.
Yeah.
And in my eyes, like if you're Activision, give Call of Duty your 1 to 2 year break and say, Sledgehammer, go make what you want.
Or yeah, they can make what they want. It still could be a Call of Duty, but I think they actually have the perfect layout now for what each company can do. And honestly, it's perfect.
You just said that, so.
I know, sorry. You have Treyarch, which is doing all this Cold War secret stuff. Bam, that's what they're good at. We got Infinity War, good at making modern warfare-based stuff. Very good at it. And now we have Sledgehammer. Sledgehammer can make futuristic Call of Duties. That's where they need to be. Because that is, honestly, in my opinion, their peak. Not saying it was fantastic, but I think they could get better at it. And if they just focused on one type of time period, I actually think that's where they should stay. Sledgehammer should just be futuristic Call of Duties. So then every single fan will have a Call of Duty that they want. We have the future Call of Duties. We have the Cold War spy, whatever you want to call it, Black Ops games. And then you got Modern Warfare, which is going to be or whatever, Infinity Ward's games. Boom. Everyone has their own different thing. And honestly, that could work. I could be down for that.
But here's an idea.
You'll let them make their own thing. Yeah.
Sledgehammer makes whatever the fuck they want to make, and Infinity Ward and Treyarch just take 3 to 4 years to make Call of Duty, and there's a couple year gap in between.
But Xbox could allow that to happen.
That can't happen because you'll lose sales. They're not going to sell as much with that. Clearly, you're not making as many games. You won't sell as many Call of Duties because in their eyes, I feel like it doesn't matter who makes each individual game. Like you said, it's all fucking jumbled up now. It's just a Call of Duty every single year. And everybody makes disparate parts of things. And it's like, there's no identity to the series anymore, you know? There's nothing that makes Call of Duty anymore.
I do think if they didn't want to go down the route of cutting down a game not making a game every year, is they had something that they were doing that was kind of genius. Very basic, very easy. In some ways, some people would say it's a cash grab. That is remaking old Call of Duties. As those years in between, you remake a Call of Duty, and that takes the place of that year's Call of Duty.
Now you're just Pokemon. Call of Duty is just Pokemon. Saying,
but Call of Duty is just that popular. So, like, if you came out tomorrow and you said, we are remaking Mafia 2, the thing that sucks is they did the campaign, which I still think is such a dumb move that they did that, because if they would have came out with the multiplayer as well, dude, they would have had a fucking year on them. But
The problem with that is you're cannibalizing it. Now everyone's just gonna go play Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer.
well,
instead
that's what
of
I'm
the
saying.
new
It was a
thing.
dumb move.
Yeah.
They should have just waited for like a year that was gonna be empty slot or whatever. Like that next year, they'll be like, okay, we're gonna push their Call of Duty to a different year. We'll come out with Modern Warfare 2 remaster. Boom, done. And you could do the Battle Pass thing just like you did with Call of Duty 4 remaster. You could still do that. You know, do like a Halo MCC. Halo MCC is adding new stuff to these old Halo games that weren't originally there. And a lot of people think it's fine. They think it's great. And boom, you just do that. I mean, the great thing about Halo MCC is you don't have to pay for the battle passes. You get them automatically for free. So, but that's a whole different thing. Um, but yeah, like I don't know, next year be like, hey, we're gonna remake World at War. You know how many people would fucking jump out of their seats to play that? I would buy that shit.
God,
So yeah,
I have
like
PTSD from those fucking grenades, dude.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like they remaster that game and they just say, hey, that's gonna be our Call of Duty for next year. I wouldn't complain a single bit. I would be fine with that. I think a lot of people would be fine with that. So it's like that's their way of taking a year off. They just come out with this and they have like a basic team that comes out with the original maps and everything. I know some people be like, it's a cash grab. And but you're right. But it does give them a time to actually make something new in between that year. It gives them an additional year to actually create something original. And that's where I'd be fine with it. Not saying it's a great move, but if they don't want to lose sales, that's the way to do it. You remake something. That's what a lot of these companies do nowadays. You remake something until you come out with something brand new. So I think that's a good move, in my opinion.
You know what they could do?
Yeah.
Now stick with me here. Activision says we're ending Call of Duty. And we've bought the rights to Medal of Honor.
No.
I'm just shooting I'm shooting the shit, by the way, dude. I'm not serious. I don't know.
You know, that's something ballsy that would be crazy if EA brought back was Medal of Honor. That would be ballsy.
They technically did. There's a VR game that came out earlier this year, or maybe last year. I don't remember. I don't pay attention.
Yeah, it was last year. It wasn't.
I don't pay attention to that shit, but I don't know, man. I always want people to come up with new ideas and everything, and I just feel like Call of Duty is like outside of like sports games, like just stagnant as hell, man. It's the same thing every year. The game comes out, people play it, they think it's good. The first update comes out, everyone thinks the game sucks on randomly, and then we're stuck in this infinite fucking loop of every single year. It just feels like the same thing over and over and over again, regardless of how good or bad, different levels of quality, different settings, everything like that. It just feels like the same thing over and over again, and it just feels, honestly, just the whole series just feels trite right now, and that sucks because it used to not be. And speaking of used to not be, segue, Xbox Call of Duty. I screwed up my own segue. I'm mad. The Xbox 360 Call of Duties have come back, and people seem to be enjoying them, including the man who co-hosts a podcast with me, Mr. Logan Birdman, also known as the greatest eyebrows on YouTube.
Eyebrows, nose, and hair. Hell yeah. I'll take it.
The greatest face on YouTube. We're going to get there. Just hold on.
Yep.
I'm going to get there. Next week's chin. All right. Anyway, the classic Call of Duty games have shot back up the Xbox's paid top games list, fueled by recent improvements to matchmaking and an eye-catching sale. 2009's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is currently the top paid game on Xbox, followed by 2012's Black Ops 2, 2010's Black Ops, 2011's Modern Warfare 3, and also Treyarch's World of War and Black Ops 3 are within the top 10. That makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the top 10 games on Xbox Call of Duty games right now. If you think this series doesn't sell, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Anyway, these older Call of Duty games are outselling big hitters such as Red Dead Redemption 2, Hogwarts Legacy, Elden Ring, and even last year's Modern Warfare 2. It's a remarkable resurgence for a collection of games once thought consigned to the history books, but recent developments have rekindled interest in this golden age of Call of Duty, fueled by apparent matchmaking improvements made by Microsoft themselves. Reports indicate thousands of people were online over the weekend playing these old Call of Duty games after word of surprise server fixes spread among the community like wildfire. However, these reports also indicate lobbies are still afflicted by hackers, boosters, and cheaters. Interesting, though, alongside the supposed Microsoft effort to sort out old school Call of Duty games came a sweeping sale targeting many of the games. Microsoft and Activision have yet to comment on exactly what's happening behind the scene, although IGN has apparently asked for comment. The radio silence, though, is fueling speculations that both companies are preparing to drop the Call of Duty back catalog on Game Pass, seeing as how Microsoft is now in the home stretch of completing their $69 million buyout of Activision Blizzard King. While we wait to find that out, though, thousands of people are getting sucked back into classic Call of Duty games, with in-game player counts indicating astonishing concurrent peaks above 100,000 players. With these last-gen trackers, while these last-gen trackers are unreliable, it's clear that the Call of Duty community is having somewhat of a moment.
Yeah, that's that's awesome. It's also hilarious that it's outselling the new Call of Duty, but I'm very happy about this because in two ways this is great. One, everyone can revisit all the classic Call of Duties right now, and that's cool. And a lot of them were on deep sale, like $10. So very cool. But also it's kind of like a slap in the face to Activision at the same time because they're like, yeah, fuck you. We're not playing your new Call of Duty. We're going to go play the classics that we enjoy more. And it's like, damn. So, yeah, maybe they'll look at this and actually think for a second. Because there's one thing about classic Call of Duties that makes them so great. And I think this is what a lot of modern gaming has kind of forgotten. And that's simplicity. And that's what these all do so well. They don't have all these battle passes, all these different crazy skins and shit. It was just a game that came out. Yes, it had DLC packs, but it was just super basic, you know? It wasn't all this bullcrap, and it feels good to go back to just a simple, fun shooter. And so that's why it's like, I'm happy to see this. This is really cool. And for the people out there that maybe didn't play the classic Call of Duties, go on there, go play it, go get it, pick it up for $10. Or if you could find it at GameStop, pick it up for like 99 cents. I'm sure you can find it for very cheap. Pull out your 360s, dust them off. Maybe your Xbox Ones, really dust those off. Probably open them up, dust them off even more because they've probably been there for 10 years. And then, then go download some Call of Duty and play it because yeah, it's great. I'm happy to see this.
All right. Well, congratulations to the Call of Duty community out there. They finally gotten what they really, really wanted, which is just the other Call of Duties that came out on 360.
Yep.
Congratulations to you out there. I hope you're happy. But let's switch gears now. We're going to switch to Team Blue after talking about Team Green and Activision for so long on this podcast. We're going to switch it up now and go to Team Blue. That is, of course, PlayStation. Quite a bit of news has come out. Some trailers have come out. But the big news is we're going to start here. The PS5 Pro has officially, unofficially been revealed through leaks and speculation. Reading to give credit to the person who leaked it, reading from the keytogaming.com article, it says it's been a month since Xbox chief Phil Spencer revealed in an interview, and Digital Foundry reported on the same information, that Microsoft has no plans for a mid-gen refresh for the Xbox Series X and S. They have stated that they already believe that the Xbox Series X and are treated internally like it is their pro offering. They just decided to release it alongside the Xbox Series S, which they see as their next-gen console. With all that disregard, though, PlayStation is forging ahead with age-old, I guess, just the regular operating procedure. And officially, the PS5 Pro is in development, and its code name Trinity. Now, if you think those code names have some familiarity, you're right. As the PS4 Pro console was codenamed Neo, and the PSVR was codenamed Morpheus. So clearly, someone over there at Sony really loves the Matrix, which is cool. All that out of the way, though, it's understood that Trinity has been in development since 2020, with sources citing that although the rumors of a canceled PS5 Pro project are always fun to read, Trinity has been the only project in the works for the Pro model. Despite dates being tentative, it's understood that demo events for the PS5 Pro are already ongoing, with the majority of studios receiving development kits by late November 2023. Although the Pro specs were difficult to pin down, admittedly due to the lack of technical prowess, sources have stated that Trinity will have 30. I don't know what any of these numbers mean. It's going to be more powerful, all right? As for the console performance targets, and as to be expected, the PS5 Pro will be targeting improved and consistent frame rates at 4K resolution in a new quote-unquote performance mode for 8K resolution, which is total bullshit. Along
Yeah,
with
that's bullshit.
I mean, both Xbox Series X and PS5 on the box say 8K, and there's nothing that can do 8K. So,
Yeah.
but it
There's one
also,
game. There's one game.
yeah, isn't it like this little
Tourist. I think it's called Tourist.
Yeah, there's no. I mean, there's one on the PlayStation called like My Little Heroes or something that has like 8K resolution. I forgot what it. Maybe it is Tourist. Maybe right. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
look up Tourist. That's like, yeah, that I know that game for a fact is one of them,
yeah,
but it doesn't even technically run at full 8K. It's 8K brought down to like 6K or 4K or whatever, but still,
it doesn't matter.
like
You
that's
can't
like the
see it
only one.
because we have
Yeah,
4K
it also
TVs.
doesn't matter because no one fucking owns an 8K. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. The 1% of us have an 8K TV, probably not even a full 1%. So yeah, like I don't care. I don't want 8K.
Anyway, and it's also included, rumored to be including something called accelerated ray tracing, which would be the first time that we see any sort of hardware acceleration dedicated to ray tracing. Whether or not a PS5 Pro console is desired enough in the current market remains to be seen, but as of writing, the PS5 Pro is in development and is targeting a November 2024 release date. Trinity appears to be PlayStation's last bits of major hardware for this generation, and after reporting on almost everything from the DualSense Edge controller to the Project Q to PlayStation 2's wireless earbuds, the next time you hear a PlayStation hardware report will likely be on the PlayStation 6, which is currently targeting a 2028 release date. End of story. Now, I have to say, from my perspective, this greatly excites me. From the internet's perspective, it appears that no one wants this, which confuses me, but it is what it is.
We don't exactly need it.
We don't need it, but that's the thing that I think people are. Again, sometimes people fail to see the whole picture, right? And this is something we always talk about: is people's viewpoints and scopes on things are very minimal, right? When you go through the list, you don't have. No one has to purchase everything, right? The PS4, the PSVR tool, to DualSense Edge, Project Q, and PS4 Pro-Ons are just add-ons to the PS5 library. And all they do is just extend the ecosystems and gives us players options for what we want. The people like you and me who care about having the best of the best and want the best of the best experiences, we're going to go buy the PS5 Pro when it comes out, or as close to it comes out as we can financially. The people who don't care, people who have been playing PS4 Pro for 10 years now, well, I guess like 8 years now, and haven't really thought anything different of it, you're not going to go get it. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, like, what's the point? Having options and having availability, I mean, it's what PC gaming has been for years. You have the 4080, the 4070, which you can get for a relatively decent price and competitive price. If you want the best of the best, you can go buy the 4090 if you want. Don't know who the fuck would spend $1,800 on a GPU, but if you can, it's there for you if you want to go get it. And there's not a problem innately with any of that. More options is never a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't entirely have like a huge problem with it, though. I will say one thing I really don't believe is going to get fixed with this next console is ray tracing. And the biggest reason why, AMD, not great with ray tracing. And I know for a fucking fact they're not switching from AMD. So I just want people to know already, before it even comes out, before it's announced, before anything, don't think ray tracing is going to be more of a popular thing because of this Pro. Because I'm telling you right now, unless fucking AMD actually finally comes out with FSR3, which is supposed to be their solution to FSR3 or to DLSS3 and frame generation, I don't think we're going to be seeing ray tracing become a big thing at all this generation.
Here's the thing. I don't think we have any sort of...
I'm fine with at least... Sorry. I am fine with at least, though, that we are going to get increased performance and resolution and stuff like that, which I am totally cool with. Because I am, as you would say, a snob for... I like higher resolutions. I like... what not even higher resolutions. I'm more of a snob now just for performance.
Yeah.
And I will say... And I think this is mainly not towards the console's fault, but more the developer's fault. But people are going to blame it on the consoles every day, is that a lot of these games are being made and the performance mode is never. There's a lot of games coming out that don't even have 60 FPS or not a solid 60 FPS, which I do agree. It would be nice to have a pro that can actually play the games at 60 FPS again, like. But it's kind of annoying because it's not really the console's fault. The console is very much willing to be able to do it. It's the developers. And the developers, from the beginning, when they start making the game, if they have a mindset of making the game run at 60 FPS, I know for a fucking fact it will run at 60 FPS. But if you don't, and you try to shoehorn in performance mode last minute, cough, cough, Final Fantasy, then you get what you get. And you don't get a solid 60 FPS. So, but, I guess if this is the solution to where, people like myself who would like to have 60 FPS, at least they will be targeting the lower end hardware, which will technically now be the PS5, which is weird to call it lower end hardware. But if PS5 Pro does come out, then at least I know for sure I'm going to be getting good performance. So that has me happy at least.
Here's where my hiccup is.
Annoying because we shouldn't be blaming the consoles. The consoles aren't the weak things. It's the developers who clearly fucking aren't targeting the 60 FPS, and they're targeting either PC first or they're targeting 30 FPS and then later on adding 60 FPS. And that's why most of the time when these games come out and they don't have solid 60 FPS, it's because of that reason. Their main focus wasn't to make performance, which I think is really stupid because that's what the whole point of this new generation was supposed to be. Performance. We're trying to go back to the PS2 days. We're trying to go back to when games ran at 60 FPS, and it was a lot more normal than it is when the 360 and PS3 came in, where everything was fucking running at 30 FPS. So please, I beg you, stop this whole 30 FPS thing. People want 60 FPS. Please.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Here's what I said. I don't even think we have a good reference for what the performance of this could be, because not only do we not even know what AMD's lineup for 2024 is and the potential power that could be, we don't even know what 2023's lineup is. We'll get that later on in the year. So
yeah,
it is very conceivable throughout 2 more iterations of their GPUs that they could achieve very solid frame rates. I mean, you think 3 years ago ray tracing was thought of as like this otherworldly thing, like we had no clue what it was,
Mm-hmm.
And now it's becoming more secretorious within the gaming landscape. So, do I think they can achieve perfect ray tracing throughout the grand scheme of, quality, performance, all the different modes that could be available? I think it's possible. It's theoretically achievable. Just depends on the advancements that take place over the next year and a half of GPU manufacturing. Because, this thing is going to have 2024's AMD's GPU in it. So, yeah.
Which I will say, again, even their newest GPUs still can't even handle. Like the 7900 still can't handle ray tracing.
Yeah.
So,
we'll see.
I just want people to get their expectations in check here, because it is not going to be the game changer when it comes to ray tracing. Now, other than ray tracing, it is going to hopefully be a game changer. That's where it honestly matters more to me. And plus, there is still games that get solid performance with ray tracing on. It just depends on the kind of ray tracing, and it depends on the developer. Such as Spider-Man. Do a great job of having ray tracing and performance at the same time, and it looks phenomenal. And I'm sure Spider-Man 2 is going to have it. So that's fucking cool. I'm excited. I love that. Or Metro Exodus. That also has ray tracing and performance, and it's phenomenal looking. So it just depends on the developer. So and it's not even a matter of the hardware. But I guess having this increase in power will at least help us bump up to another tier of ray tracing in a sense. We may get a little bit more exciting ray tracing features. Well, that's at least a plus.
This idea of hardware accelerated ray tracing is something that we don't even have right now, where that pretty much means, as far as I understand it, not hardware accelerated. We have
with Fortnite we do.
Is it hardware accelerated, or is it just because as far as my knowledge goes, we have ray tracing that the machines just produce. And hardware acceleration means like it's baked into the files and the code of the game, and the hardware boosts that to an acceptable rate. It's essentially like frame generation for ray tracing. Sorry. Or upscaling for ray tracing. That's essentially what hardware generation is. Or hardware acceleration, sorry. Anyway, I don't care that much.
Keep going. I'm going to look this up.
No, you're fine.
I thought I heard this. You're good.
No. If I had to get a wish list for this is exactly what I want the PS5 Pro to do and achieve. And that's it, at its highest quality, a locked 4K resolution at 60 frames a second. And the performance mode, get as close as you can to 1440p, hopefully locked at 120. That's my expectations for this. That's where I want it to be. If it can't do those two things, I don't see a point in this. If it can't achieve a locked 60 frames at 4K resolution 3 years after, and with 3 years, an entire generation of GPU differences, then what's the point? If it can do that, I'm fucking in. Actually, if it can't do that, I'm still in. But I'll be disappointed. But if it can't do that, I don't see a huge reason for this existing. I do not see it as a problem that
Resident Evil 7 is one of a number of Capcom titles to support hardware accelerated ray tracing features on Xbox Series S, X, and PS5 and stuff.
So I'm wrong. My bad.
So, and by the way, those implementations are bad not because of the game or the consoles. It's mainly because of the
I mean, it's still
Capcom not optimizing it properly for consoles.
And it's also still
it may be fixed now, so who knows?
It's also that in particular, that style of ray trace implementation is still very new. Shit, I didn't even know it existed in the game, so it's still very new.
Yeah.
Like normally, ray tracing is just rendered at a granular scale within the GPU, and the attempt of hardware acceleration is to help it out a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So, anyway, I mean, do my expectations line up with yours? I'm betting they do a little bit, but like, what are your expectations for what this can do? And also, it better have a fucking terabyte of storage.
Yes.
I want way more
than that. 2.
Yeah, I want more.
Start with 2.
But I'll settle for 1.
I want pro storage, 2 terabytes. Okay. First, yeah, 2 terabytes thing. Thirdly, I do agree with you, but there's one more thing I wanted to do. And that is another thing that they also heavily were focusing, especially with the HDMI 2.1, which I feel like has not been utilized quite a bit this generation, which has been very disappointing. Some games have been, even some single player games have, and that is 120 hertz. Please,
I literally mentioned 120 hertz, but whatever.
Okay. Well, I'm fine with 4K 60 as the quality mode, and then yeah, from there it should be performance, which will be 1080p to 1440p at 120 hertz.
That's literally what I fucking said.
That's what I meant. Sorry, I was looking this up. I'm sorry. Okay, I can't focus. I have a brain that can't focus on 2 things at once. So I was trying to look this up to get this out there. But okay. Yeah, I agree with you. That is what I want, and that needs to be the standard for the Pro console. It better not be like we come out with it, it's not going to be 4K. No. This is the Pro console. It better be 4K 60, or even if it's using an upscale resolution thing, it better be like quality. It better be like basically 110% 4K. So
now here's the question. What I want. Now this is a very fanboy question, but it's me and you, so we're gonna approach it as from an analyst perspective. We don't really try to delve too heavy into the fanboyisms here. Where does this leave the Series X? If the PS5 Pro comes out, and let's say it miraculously manages to get to 500, where does that leave the Series X? It leaves it kind of lost. Yeah, it leaves it lost in the middle.
Very bad spot, because not only that, but even the Series S at that point. Like you're.
The Series S is.
If I could spend $500, I could get literally, like the system with the strongest system too. You know.
Like, look, I didn't believe when Digital Foundry said what they said, but then Phil Spencer straight up came out and confirmed it. And to me, that is a baffling market decision. They view the Series S as their next-gen console. There's no way, dude.
You mean Series X or Series S? I'm confused.
They view Series S, as their next-gen console.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
They
because like they wanted to basically start off this generation the way that they kind of did last generation, where they had
well, the way they
the
ended
One
it, yeah.
S and then the One X, yeah, and they kind of want to just start off that way. They just wanted to be like, hey, here's a Series S, the weaker console, but can play all the games. Series X, this is gonna be the top tier one. If PlayStation does come out with that, that's gonna be rough. I think even at a higher price than 500, if let's say it's $600-700, it's still gonna be like,
I mean,
like I
the
don't
internet's
know.
gonna blow up if this thing comes in at
I
seven hundred
am
dollars, but
kind
that's
of
fine for me.
yeah. I don't think that's a bad price if you, especially when the fact is like right now again, the fact that literally them trying to even just get the PS5 out, which is already still very expensive in its own, you better expect a high price. Like I full-heartedly believe they're gonna get a higher price at 500. I'm expecting 700, 800. I know that's like, whoa, that's a lot, but I'm like, what are you expecting? Like PlayStation 5 is still stupid expensive for them to create. It has not gone down. Actually, it's gone up in price in 90% of the countries except for America. So like literally, like, what do you expect? That's why I don't know. I mean, again, you have a good point there. It's mainly going to be for the people like us, which is totally cool with me. There's going to be people out there that love performance and they want the best console they can get when it comes to performance. I'm down for it. I understand the price, but then there are going to be people out there be like, "What the hell, man? Why is it so expensive? The consoles aren't supposed to be this expensive." But like, I don't know. That's PlayStation's decision, and that's why it's a hard one because this is gonna if it does come out. Let's say it comes out and it gets announced next year. There's no doubt about it. This is gonna be the most expensive console to come out in like a long time. So yeah,
I mean, I can see the path to this year. They come out with their completely revitalized PS5 with the disc drive
hmm
and all that, and essentially at this point, it's not even rumors anymore. I'm gonna take it as fact that that is the new SKU of the PlayStation 5 going forward. And if that comes in like $399, $349 would be amazing. I can see where they plan on being like, all right, here is now the $500 PlayStation. It's the PS5 Pro. We've got it there. And again, if they manage to do that, you'll Series X has got to drop. There's
Oh no,
no
it's
way.
dead.
Yeah, well, it's not
Like
dead.
there's
No, I'm saying
no
drop in price. Like, there's no way it can compete with a
that's gonna
console
be a
that's.
hard pill to swallow for Xbox if that happens.
I mean,
Because like that,
I just think
that
that's a pretty big mistake to make out of the jump. To come up with your, put it in layman's terms, your mid-gen refresh at the beginning of the generation. That means you have no way to go forward.
yeah,
That's
I don't know why they
that's super
even
weird,
said
dude.
that to be honest. Because it doesn't make any sense at all. Because like the whole thing is, yeah, I just don't
It,
get that. Why? I
it
don't know
feels like
why. I still am baffled by the decision too. Because it doesn't make any sense for Xbox not to want to have a mid-fresh like upgrade. I don't know.
considering they are the ones that popularized that idea of a mid-gen
I
refresh.
know.
And then you're like, one generation after you came up with the idea, you're like, oh, we're just going to do it all at the same time. And again, if PS5 Pro does hit, it like immediately puts Xbox on the back foot, like heavily on the back foot. Because now you're stuck in the same situation as you were at Xbox One and PS4. You have a console at the same price point that is significantly more powerful.
And again, it really depends on the price. That's where the real key component
That
is.
is true.
If PlayStation does come out with this and this thing is like, I'm just gonna go for the high number, $800.
Okay, that seems a little
I don't,
high. That seems very
I
high.
don't know, man. If this is gonna be a Pro, it needs to be stronger. And the thing is, with the PS4 to the PS4 Pro, that was quite a jump. Same for the Xbox One S to the One X. One X was a huge jump for Xbox. Actually, a gigantic leap compared to the One S. And so if it's gonna be a Pro, they need to make it a Pro. It needs to be like I think it needs to be 2 TB. It needs to be probably maybe 1.8 or to 2 times as powerful as what the PS5 is to call it a Pro. Because that's kind of how the PS4 Pro was, right? I mean, how much percent stronger was that compared to the PS4? like
Yeah,
1.8 or something. I can't remember what it was. It was close to 2 times. And I know the Xbox One X was just about 2 times as strong as the Xbox One. And so they need to make this like a solid bump if you're gonna call it a pro. It better not be like a 1.5 times increase. Like that's just dumb. Go all in. This thing better be a pro console. I want to be the as most of them how they did last year or the last generation. This is the strongest console out at the moment. Boom.
all right.
So yeah.
So it offers a straight 100%. So 100%
Okay.
more powerful.
Yeah. So then
those,
yeah, it needs to be that.
yeah.
Because then, what's the point of making a pro console if it's just gonna be 1.5? Like it's just gonna be a 0.5 upgrade. Like that's
Here's
why the
another.
fuck would I spend $800 for that?
Here's another question. How big is this motherfucker gonna be?
Yeah.
Because the PS5, it's the biggest console ever produced. Well,
Mhm.
that's a lie. There was those like VCR ones that came out like in the 80s and 90s, so that's not exactly accurate. But I mean, like modern perspective, it's the biggest console ever made. How
Yeah.
big's the PS5 gonna be? Are we talking like tower
It's gonna be like a
speakers?
PC tower, dude.
I was just saying like tower speakers, like the old like
Yeah, yeah.
Panasonic speakers. You just gotta fucking heft it into your living room and plop it down. No, but I'm very excited about this. I always love the idea of we're getting something every 3 to 4 years. We're getting an update. We're getting an upgrade. Yes, that doesn't make the quote unquote next gen. So when the PS6 comes out, it's not as big of a leap from 5 to 6, something like akin to like what 2 to 3 was. But also, we're just never going to get that big a jump again. So get that out of your heads, guys. But I like the fact that, I can sit here and think, like, okay, every 3 to 4 years, I'm going to get something brand new that can run these games in a way that I've never seen before. You know?
Yeah.
All right. Let's move it on. For those of you out there that aren't excited about the PS5 Pro, I don't know. Fuck off. I don't care. I don't understand the negativity because, like, again, you don't have to go buy it if you don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, if it comes out and it's just a small group of people, then cool. Like that's what it's. I mean, it'll be just kind of a lot like the. Well, I guess it can't really be like the VR. The VR is a little bit different. It's not like it's an entirely new device, whereas PS5 Pro would be a actual device that would work on its own. So I can understand a little bit different. I think they're going to put a lot more marketing into the PS5 Pro than they would with the
Well,
VR
speaking of
because
VR,
they're
like,
selling a console.
this could be big for PSVR too. That could make
True.
that thing really sink.
Yeah. Again, I for people that don't expect the PS5 Pro to ever get created, I think you're already wrong on that fact
Yeah,
because there was always going to be. It's a smart move, and honestly, I'm happy for this kind of thing. Like I think it's great because then it just for people like me, I like to have the most powerful thing. I want it to be super strong. I want to play games at higher frame rates, higher resolutions. Ever since I got a One X, my life changed when it comes to that. I was like, all right, I want to play everything at higher resolutions. I want everything to look better and, play better. And so, honestly, yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with this. Do I think we need it? Absolutely not. But that's not the point. It's more that, like, there will be, like you said, there's some people out there like me and you, or some other people out there that wouldn't mind having a stronger console. There you go.
I mean, I think digital. I mean, you love Digital Foundry way more than I do, and they've been saying
Mm,
for quite a while now that I guess they're kind of trying to clue people into the fact that you know we were spoiled with the 60 frames because of just the fact that this new generation was cross-gen for so long. So obviously it was going to be
yeah.
able to run PS4 and Xbox One games at a significantly locked 60 frames a second. And they've been saying for a while now, and I don't really want to believe them, that things are just going to keep ticking down to 30 eventually. And I don't like that
Yeah.
future, but that's what they are saying. And they know way more about the stuff than I do. So I don't necessarily want to believe them if de facto, but they say, games just keep getting harder and harder to run. Technology keeps exploding. And, it's just simply something that's 5 years old in technology can't keep up. You can't do it. Which I
But
think
it's
is,
also they also bring up another point that it also is the key thing is the developer. They know for a fact any developer could make their game run at 60. It's just the fact that they have to have the motivation or the ID at the very beginning to make the game run at a higher frame rate. And if you don't do that and you try to shoehorn that in last minute without any optimization, then yeah, it's not going to run at 60 FPS. And I don't think that's really the console's fault. That is just literally developers just shoehorning in performance mode last minute, which I don't think performance mode should be the second mode. I always thought the quality mode should be the second mode. Quality mode should be the one where you hit 30 and you can crank it all the way up for the people that don't care about 60 FPS. Like, for example, Amy doesn't care about 60 FPS. That's cool. That's fine. Have that mode there. But to take away performance mode, that's where it's like, I'm not a big fan of that. Like, for example, that's where I think Xbox should be making another one, because Starfield running at 30 FPS, kind of think they do need another one, because that's a first party game. And I think a lot of people would have loved to play that game at a higher frame rate than 30 FPS.
But I firmly believe even if Starfield was coming to PS5, it'd be 30 on PS5 too. Like, I just think.
No. Yeah, I know that.
I just
I'm
think
saying, like,
what that game is going for,
you actually need something bigger for that, because
Yeah.
that's different. That has a bigger scope. Whereas there's a lot of games coming out that don't have a huge scope to it, and they still run at 30, and that doesn't make any sense to me. So I think they should. If developers did put their focus on it, they could. Starfield's a bit of a different situation because it has such a huge scope to it. It's the same thing for, like, people saying, Tears of the Kingdom, why is it not running at 60 on the Switch? The fuck you mean, dude? Like, look at the game. You're telling me that game surprisingly, I don't even know how it runs at 30.
Yeah, it boots up. Yeah. That's surprising.
Yeah, it boots up. It turns on this old ass freaking mobile chip. So, like, dude, like, take it for what it is. Like, I understand what it is. Like, I didn't have this unreal expectation for it. And I don't think I'm having an unreal expectation for these developers to still put 60 FPS in their games. I mean, there are still first-party games that run at 60. I mean, heck, Ratchet and Clank, did that come out on PS4? No. Came out on PS5 only.
And you're damn sure Spider-Man 2 is going to run at 60.
Yeah, 60. So, like, it really is just the developers. It's not the console. I don't think these consoles are weak. I think it's mainly literally just the developers are, like, fucking lazy. And I'm sorry, I know this is mean, but there's a lot of developers out there that take the lazy route when it comes to console ports anymore. I mean, it's even worse for PC. God. Sorry for you guys out there, but which is me now. But I think if they focus on it, which I think they should, because I do think 60 should be the new norm for console, we would have more 60 games. And I don't know if I should worry, but I am getting a little worried now that a lot of games are starting to get 30 again, which is like, ugh, yeah, I don't want that.
It feels like we're ticking back into, like,
yeah.
And
like, we're in current generation, you know, like, at least PS4 and Xbox One, they started off at 30. We knew what we were getting into immediately. But this generation, we started off with, like, chef's kiss, dude. We had 60, 4K. It was great. And then, yeah, I mean, I get it. Now we're starting to get just to exclusive games, but that doesn't mean I want to play 30. I don't think a lot of people do. Clearly, a lot of people complained so much to Plague Tale that they finally added 60 FPS to that game to console. And now it has 60 FPS because enough people complained about it, which I think is fair.
You know what doesn't have 60 FPS yet?
What?
Redfall.
Yeah, oh God.
I don't know how.
Has that game even been updated?
Yes, actually, I watched a video of a guy doing a detailed analysis of the new update where they said they added all sorts of things, more like enemies around the map, and he walked from one edge of the map to the other in the main, like, highway, and he ran into 4 encounters, which he said he ran into like 2 in the first one. So I guess technically they doubled it, but that's still not saying much. You ran into four encounters in like 20 minutes of walking through a game.
Does it run better on PC yet? Does it actually utilize the entire GPU?
I have no clue, dude.
God, dude.
All right, man. Let's keep it moving on. So, all right, cool. I'll be there in a little bit. Pizza's here.
Hey, pizza. Pizza.
By the way, that's not Little Caesar. I don't know what the hell she got, but that box was massive, whatever she got. Damn, I'm excited now. All right, well, let's get through this stuff then. All right, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart has finally announced its PC requirements, and as per the order of the world, the internet has to make fun of Sony for some reasons. Because guess what? You don't technically need an SSD if you want to play at 720 at 30 frames a second. You can put it on a hard drive.
I can play it on my Steam Deck.
So there you go. Enjoy it. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to throw this story into, because we said when they officially announced the PC port, the internet blew up. Be like, oh, I thought you could only do this on the PS5 because of the SSD. Well, here you go. You don't have to have an SD if you want to play at 720 at 30 frames a second. Go ahead, knock your fucking socks off.
Yeah,
I'll wait for it. Everything else, and even on that minimum, they say, yo, we're recommending an SSD, but technically we got it to run without one. But you probably should have an SSD in 2023.
I'm assuming the way that it's going to work is like the amount of objects that would usually pop up, like they lower it to like an excessive amount to
Either
be able
that,
to jump.
or they're just going to preload a shit ton of stuff on the internal RAM and the CPU load. That's they can do that. They can load a bunch of shit into system memory and have the CPU backdate it for all that stuff to load in to get it to kind of operate. But yeah, I mean, I think looking at these, I'm realizing I really need to update my computer, because I'm about on the recommended. I'm at 1080p 60 frames with my computer. So and even that, I'm actually a little bit behind in the CPU. But the GPU is exactly my GPU that I have. So I'm still holding on here with my computer, folks. But my car needed a clutch, so that was
But I'm curious to see like what people are going to try, because I am really curious to see, because I'm sure someone's going to be really crazy and they're gonna test out a lot more things with the hard drive to see how far they could push it.
They're gonna put it on a hard drive with a 4090.
Yeah.
Let's see how well that works.
I'm curious, because yeah, I'm sure Digital Foundry is going to do a very big thing about testing this out, which I'm curious. You know, I'm interested. I wonder if they're going to be able to push it past the minimum and see if they can actually get it to run on a hard drive. Or what happens when you don't? That's what I'm curious about. This game's probably the most curious port that they've done from Sony, in my opinion. So,
well, curious about, because like, sorry people, I know I get random noises. I pulled up a YouTube video. No, I don't want to play on my TV. Shut up. All right. Yeah, I mean, look, outside of all this BS internet stuff, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is a phenomenal video game. So I'm excited for PC people to get a chance to finally play it. I do feel kind of bad for PC people, because it's like, you know, now that PlayStation is finally making PC somewhat of a priority, not the main priority, it's like you're getting these appearance of random games. Like, oh, here's Rift Apart, which is like the 9th game in the franchise, but here you go if you want to play it, you know? I feel kind of bad for them, because like they don't get the full experience and all that, but so it'd be awesome if Sony could like slowly put on like the ports of these other games, but that.
I mean, but they would also have to do the same for Sony PlayStation, because they haven't even done that either.
That's true.
Yeah, unless you play through the cloud. Ooh.
Sometimes it works. Play all these. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. All right, we are running very long, but that's okay.
Okay.
We told everyone it was going to be a long episode, so. Yeah. But let's move it on now to our reactions to the story trailer for Marvel's Spider-Man 2, which came out. And I have to say, anybody out there that said this game looks awful on the showcase, man, were you fucking wrong? Because
this story trailer probably had to change their mind, because wow,
dude,
this was like honestly polar opposite to what we saw in the other thing. Like, it looks stupid. Also, Miles' haircut, pretty sick. I'm really loving it. Awesome.
I'm starting to simp, man.
Yeah.
I'm starting to simp for some Miles, which I understand is weird, because I'm pretty sure he's definitely underage. But
yeah.
But yeah, man, this thing looks phenomenal. I'm super excited with what they're doing with the story here. This looks like it's going to be a very darker story with a lot of different things coming on. I'm not super happy with MJ's redesign. I thought she looked a little weird here. And I'm still not used to the Peter Parker, because like I played it on launch, so my Peter Parker is the other one. But so I'll get over that pretty quickly. But man, soaring through the world, the detail, the draw distance. Like, if you have the trailer pulled up, man, I want you to hold on. I'm getting the time frame. Pause the game at 52 seconds into the trailer. You can see everything in this city. The draw distance of this game is ridiculously impressive. And the speeds at which you're going to be able to traverse this, at least from what we saw from the gameplay, it seems like 3 times as fast the game is moving.
Yeah.
And I can't, dude, I I can't fucking wait for this thing, dude. I am gonna just rip through this thing.
Dude, yeah, that scene right there, man. It looks so, in my opinion, way better than the other, like the Spider-Man remaster itself. That looks awesome. Like that looks very crisp. If that actually is how the game's gonna look, which I'm sure it's gonna how it's gonna look, that looks awesome. Like they really, really like look how far you can look. Holy shit. Also, just yeah, the speed. Ever since that first gameplay trailer, dude, they really are showing off that like now you can move excessively fast.
Yeah, you
compared
could.
to what you used to be able to.
Oh, here, even better. I just found another one. 1 minute 29 seconds. It's a nighttime shot. Now this seems to be a cinematic. It's playing off here, but man, you can see everything in this city, dude. Everything is being rendered in, dude. There's not a single thing left not on frame. But yeah, outside of how it looks, obviously I'm not really surprised with where the story's heading. At least so far, what they've shown hasn't surprised me. It's about what in line with what I thought it was going to be. But man, we got the introduction to Harry Osborn here. That's going to be super interesting based off, if you got all the collectibles in the first game and all that, you learned a lot about what he's going through and his medical troubles and all the different things. Obviously, the end credit scene alludes heavily to what Norman is doing to Harry Osborn. And man, how good does Venom look at the end of this trailer?
Dude, he looks awesome.
He looks sick. Now, I do have to tell people out there, apparently the CDC footage of this might contain some spoilers of how the suit comes off of Peter, so keep your eyes out for that. I definitely don't want that spoiled for me, so I did not look at the CDC footage. Not CDC, that is the Center of Disease Control. The CEC, sorry. But yeah, man, I don't know if I could have gotten more excited for this, but I'm definitely still a 10 out of 10 in my hype level for this game. I can't freaking wait. Finally, it looks absolutely beautiful, which is why I know no one's going to listen to me, man, but everyone just needs to chill the F out with seeing something for the first time and just immediately coming up with how you feel about something. Just immediately, this is what this is. This is how this looks. It looks like shit. It looks like ass. Whatever. What is with just this railroad jumping in the world today? I just want people to stop. And like we've said time and time again, just wait till it comes out. Wait till what you see it with your eyes for the first time,
Yeah, no, I'm fucking pumped, dude. I didn't need to see more, but after seeing this too, like, I just think that has to kind of shush people just a little bit because you see this and you can't tell me it doesn't look better. It looks better, and it looks fantastic, and I just can't wait, man. I have two of the most. I mean, dude, this year has been stupid already, and to have two games that I am unbelievably hyped for, September and then October, like, I don't know what to do. So much is about to happen in like just months.
Just get off work and play video games. That's all you can do. Yeah.
Dude, like Starfield's gonna take all of September for me, probably more than that. And then we're gonna have freaking Spider-Man, which is gonna be basically all October for me.
So
probably more like a week or something like that.
My dog just knows my ass and it confused me. All right. Well, outside of Spider-Man, Sony, technically PlayStation. Well, I guess technically Sony. I don't know how this works right now. I'm still confused. But they did show off first complete look at Twisted Metal. We got a short snippet a couple months ago, and then we got the now infamous casino scene during the Game Awards. That's wrong. During Summer Game Fest. But now we've gotten our first full-fledged trailer look at Twisted Metal. And
What you gotta say? Huh?
I'm trying to formulate it. It looks exactly what I thought it was going to be. And exactly what I thought it was going to be looks fine. Looks fun. I think it looks like it's going to be funny. Obviously, with the people behind it and the people writing it. I think it looks like a good time. My weird take on this, with what they were explaining how the world is, with, like, the cities are now walled off, and you like the main character is this guy who drives between cities like for deliveries, and you have to fight the outlaws and all that. I'm like, yo, this sounds like a really good game. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this sounds like a really cool game, like a really cool setup for a video game. And I'm kind of sad that they're using this setup for a TV instead of like a Twisted Metal reboot or something like that, which we've heard rumblings about for years now. That's in the works somewhere within Sony's umbrella.
What if
the game is actually this? This is just the show. Yeah,
like they had it all like written out, and then they're like, it didn't really work out for the game, so let's make it into a show. That would be crazy.
Who knows?
And if it was a reboot, I could probably be a little bit more fine with the character changes. But because this technically isn't a character or a reboot, and it's going off the original stuff, I don't like how they made Sweet Tooth, man. I think Sweet Tooth is just, they fucking butchered him. You know, I guess no pun intended, because, you know, he's a killer, but dude, my God, he sucks. He is nothing like the original in any way, other than his looks and that he drives an ice cream truck. That's the only two things that is similar to him in any way.
I told myself not to forget this, and I fucking forgot it. I forgot to put it in the rundown. I downloaded Twisted Metal, and I've been playing it for like 3 hours. I completely forgot to put it in there. Again, the controls are garbage on this game, and it's way harder than I ever remember it being. Even though now that I think back about it, I don't think I ever got past like the first like 2 levels of Twisted Metal. But
really?
Yeah, I beat the game now, at least with Sweet Tooth. So yeah, that's a non sequitur. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm in for it. I think it's gonna be a fun ride. I'm excited to watch it. Is it The Last of Us? No. It was never going to be. It wasn't ever made to be The Last of Us. Speaking of which, you see it got 24 Emmy nominations.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, second place, only behind Succession. So Succession got 27, and The Last of Us got 24.
Damn.
So, and we've gotten rumblings that season 2 will come out in 2025, so we got a while to wait. Which is good. Give them time to make Last of Us Part 3, because we don't want a Game of Thrones situation where we get the end of the story through a TV show and not the actual main thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's still crazy, man. Game of Thrones has been done for 4 years now, and we still haven't gotten the next book. That's a big slice of pizza.
It's more crazy.
Look at this slice of pizza.
Oh, man, dude.
Like,
wait a minute.
Where's this from?
That doesn't have pineapple, does it?
If it does have pineapple, I'm very excited. No. But no, it doesn't have pineapple.
Good.
It's pineapple.
I was about to say, you better throw that in the trash.
Pineapple belongs on pizza.
It does not.
I will fight you on a fucking hill. Pineapple is perfectly acceptable on pizza.
No, it's disgusting.
You're disgusting.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Well, I'm excited for Twisted Metal. I mean, next time that we talk to you, I would have watched it. Comes out Thursday. And I'm probably going to all watch it in one day because I'm off Thursday, so why not? But I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be funny. I mean, it's fun, the people that did Zombieland and Deadpool. At the bare minimum, it's going to be funny. You're going to get some laughs. I just hope it's well acted. And it's got some decent people in it, so. Like I said,
that's fair.
I think it's going to be perfectly fine, which is what I always thought it was going to be. Like, it feels like it's going to be like, yeah, that was good. It feels a lot like Uncharted. Like, Uncharted was good. Uncharted wasn't bad, wasn't amazing. Uncharted was good, and it's, from the rumors, getting a sequel. So, cool. Like, I don't know, not everything has to be, you know, the next Oscar winner, you know?
Yeah.
There's only one a year, so, anyway, all right, let's keep it going. Well, I'm getting a little tired, man. I'm gonna be completely honest. But we're still under 3 hours, so we still got some wiggle room here. So, well, we are going to run through the rest of these because they don't truly matter, but...
Not really, yeah.
Resident Evil 4 has announced, or Capcom, I guess, has announced that Resident Evil 4 has surpassed 5 million units sold. That is the remake. Obviously, the original one sold significantly more than that. But it took Resident Evil, as I said, just 2 days to sell 3 million copies, 2 weeks to shift the next 1 million copy, bringing it to 4, and then another 3 months to now reach the 5 million units sold. Congratulations. And they go on to talk about some of the new technology and all that, but the real takeaway outside of the congratulatory nature that I have towards Capcom for having another massive success on their hands, where the fuck is VR? They keep talking about it like we didn't know it existed. We keep knowing that it exists, and you keep mentioning like, hey, we're bringing VR to it. We know. Let us know when we get to play it.
Trying to figure out when did Resident Evil 8 come out?
Resident Evil 8? 2021, I believe.
And VR came out last year? Around, or was that this year? I'm already forgetting what came out this year. Did VR come out this year?
PSVR?
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out in February.
So it took them.
No, sorry. I thought you meant when did like PSVR 2 come out?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, PSVR 2 came out in February.
So that's
Resident
almost
Evil
2 years.
Right? Okay. Well, yeah. Well, because they couldn't put it out on the PSVR 2 before that because the system didn't exist. So that's not a great comparison.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like, yeah, I don't know. I still think it's gonna take them at least a year to get it done. If they're gonna put the same amount of effort that they did with Resident Evil 8, it's gonna take a year, at least. That's what I'm thinking. What you think?
I mean, I understand it takes a long time to do this stuff, but theoretically, you had this in the works a while ago, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you announced it pretty much with the game. Like I think they announced it like what 2 weeks after the game came out. So you were working on this for a while. And like, look, I'm not gonna rush you or anything. I think it's dumb that. Sorry, let me get this out. I think it's dumb that they just keep talking about it like we didn't know it exists. Like, oh, and guess what? VR is coming to Resident Evil 4. Yeah, I know. Don't tell me anything until you can tell me when I get to play it, or you actually have some sort of update on it.
Yeah.
Quit telling me that it's coming. I already know it's coming. The next thing I want to hear from you is it's coming this.
The only other thing I can think of why it hasn't come out yet is I still think that Ada Wong DLC is coming out. And I think that needs to come out first. Then they'll come out the VR. Because why would they come out with VR and then have to do work on both versions at the same time? Why don't they just get the normal version done and then work on that as well so that it will work? Everything will work immediately when VR launches. So I think that's what they're doing. I think they're going to first complete. Well, at least I'm hoping they're working on this DLC. I don't know. I don't know if they even officially said this is true or not, but I'm going to hope that they are going to be adding this DLC. And then after that, maybe like a couple months later or so, it will hopefully come out with VR. That's what I'm going to hope. Possible.
Let's hope. But anyway, outside of all that, congratulations, Capcom. You sold it again. Unfortunately, Exoprimal did not sell that well. So at least it appears it didn't sell that well. So who knows? Hopefully they got a big old fat fucking check from Microsoft for doing absolutely nothing. So let's hope, I guess. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there's a new King Kong game that got announced. Skull Island: Rise of King is being published by Game Mill Entertainment, the infamous company that brought you bangers such as Nerf Legends, Cruisin' Blast, American Ninja Warrior, Big Buck Hunter Arcade, Zuzu Pets, and the world-renowned Country Dance All-Stars. So, take all those games together and you get what this game looks like, which is fucking dog water. I don't know if you got a chance to look at the screenshots that came out, but man, Golem's starting to look like a AAA game, huh?
At least it kept with the theme, man. What the fuck is this?
Look at Kong.
This looks like dude. You know how everyone said like Halo Infinite they had the Craig meme? That's Craig right there. Dude, what is
Kong has
that,
a unit
face.
Not only does Kong have a unibrow, what's going on with his hair? It looks like he has a receding hairline.
He has a what?
Looks like he has a receding hairline. There's like this little jut down in the middle, which makes it look like he has like the receding human hairline. What is happening here? Why is this a thing?
What's with the things he's fighting? Why do they look like the Power Rangers of raptors, dude? Why do they look so mutated too? What the fuck are these things?
Yeah,
these aren't anything like the Kong Island enemies he's ever fought. Like, what is that?
It looks like they were supposed to be walking on 4 limbs and they're just kind of gently standing.
Yeah,
And yeah, they are the Power Rangers. Except I don't remember
they
ever being a
look.
purple Power Ranger, but
That's
whatever.
fair. Or there may be like the Transformer, whatever bots thing. That's what they. I don't know.
Anyway,
This
I'm
looks horrible.
I'm gonna
This just
buy it.
looks
I can't
god
wait.
awful. Yeah, maybe this will be next year's loser fantasy game that they have to buy
No, it's gonna be
and
this
play.
year's. It's supposed to come out later this year.
Oh, it is? Well, we
Yeah,
could save it for next year for someone to purchase and play.
that's true. But honestly, Gollum feels like a punishment. This fish feels like a just kind of like an acid trip of a game, you know?
Yeah.
Just do some drugs and play a video game. Not that I'm recommending people do drugs out there. I'm not that guy. I don't even drink alcohol. But this looks like a do a drug, play a game type of thing.
It just looks so bad. It doesn't even like at least Gollum kept with the theme. This doesn't look like it's keeping with the theme at all.
I mean, Gollum
It just
kind of
doesn't
kept
even
with the
look like
thing.
what?
I mean, Gollum kind of kept with the thing. It's
Well,
technically
yeah,
Gollum.
kind of. Yeah, but like what I mean is like the environment looks nothing like where Kong would be. Looks like they took this from Crisis and they just shoved Kong in there.
But I guess we can't be too hypercritical. These are the people that brought you Nerf Legends, so and Country
Yeah.
Dance or Country Line Dance All Stars or whatever the hell the name
I
of it
do think
is.
we can be critical because we had a game called Hogwarts Legacy come out and they fucking made Cars 3. So yeah, developers can create something good.
Fair enough.
This is just a joke.
Also, I didn't know what the hell Game Mill was. I had to look all that up. So I was like, what the fuck is Game Mill Interactive? That seems like a joke studio. Seems like someone just made a studio and it's not a real thing. Seems like actually, you know what? It seems like a studio from like a TV show or something. That's like let's just like the Game Sphere from Jake and Josh. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
Reading the word Game Mill Interactive, I'm like, that's not a thing. There's no way. Oh, anyway, let's go to our last story, man. This one's for you. So, Borderlands finally has a date. Go off, Mr. Birdman.
Well, recently there's been a lot of I don't know if it's controversy, but it's more that a lot of people were noticing that the Borderlands movie has been kind of quiet for a while. Not a lot has been said. It's been in development hell for quite a bit supposedly. I don't even know when they announced this movie. But just after all these news was popping up, all of a sudden they posted a release date. So, Borderlands the movie with Kevin Hart as Claptrap is coming out August 9th, 2024. So, yeah. Oh, it has Kevin Hart and Jack Black. Cool.
Well, I actually looked into a little bit of the controversy. You know, Craig Mazin, the
Oh,
producer,
yes, yeah.
the producer of Chernobyl and The Last of Us, was originally the lead on this project. I don't think he was the director. I think he was like the executive lead, but he's no longer a part of this project anymore. So there was some weird things happening. So I think that's where I think some leadership got shipped around, and then they retold the movie. But yeah, man, we saw the first look at the characters early last year, didn't we? Yeah, so it's been a hot second. This game floating around out there. This movie floating around out there. But anyway, are you excited for Borderlands? I sneezed again.
I am cautiously intrigued. There you go. That's the best way to go with it. Um, I want this to be good, and I feel like there's enough there where even if it was an original story, it could be good. But I don't know who's writing this story, but I hope to God they're better than the people that wrote the Tells to Borderlands game that came out recently or Borderlands 3's main game in general. Because both of those were fucking dog water. And I want this to be good, though. I do. I don't know much about this again. I'm assuming it's going to be an original story in some way or form. I don't think it's going to be like them just retelling the story. I really doubt it. But I want it to be good. I'm also just curious, like, is it live action? Is it animated? Which I kind of think it's, well, supposedly I looked at a picture and they have an actual claptrap, so I guess it is live action. If it is going to be live action, I really hope to God they keep with the art style of the game. That's what makes Borderlands Borderlands. So it better be keeping in that same art style in a sense.
All right.
So I don't
So
know. I'm interested.
it is the directorial debut of Eli Roth, If you don't know who that is, he was actually an actor in Inglourious Bastards, but it's also written by Eli Roth, who his writing credits include Cabin Fever, Knock Knock, The Green Inferno, Hostel Part 3, Hostel Part 2, Grindhouse, Hostel 1, and that's all that's of significance. So, yeah, we'll see, I guess.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was he was one of the main characters in Inglourious Bastards. I just don't remember which one it was. Apparently, he was also the subway man in the Lost World Jurassic Park back in the day.
All right, that's a role right there.
Yeah, he was Danny Donowitz in Inglourious Bastards. If that makes anything of significance to you.
It's not.
Oh.
I also didn't really care about Inglourious Bastards. I know that's blasphemy, but I didn't care for that movie.
That's very much blasphemy, and we can no longer be friends.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. All right, man. Let's get through these last couple things. Let's get the hell out of here. I got pizza to eat. I've had pizza to eat, and I'm hungry as hell. So, all right. That was around the point out there, guys. Let us know down below what you think about everything we talked about. We know it was a lot. We tried to move through it as fast as we possibly could for you guys out there. But let us know. Are you excited about the PS5 Pro? You should be. I don't know why you wouldn't be. If you're not, just don't buy it. What do you think about Xbox and PlayStation coming to an agreement? And last but not least, you can play Ratchet and Clank on a hard drive or an SSD. Let us know down below in the comments. We will, as always, communicate, engage with you as much as we possibly can, as much as you allow us. But we're going to go now to LTR, also known as Let's Talk Reviews. And it was a big week, so we got a lot to go through. Just kidding, there's 3 games. But Viewfinder came out on PS5 and PC, got an 83. Might and Magic Clash of Heroes Definitive Edition got a 79. And Pikmin 4 got an 88. Fuck you, Worthy.
How does... I don't get it.
What don't you get?
How does Pikmin get such a high score?
I don't think Pikmin's ever scored below like an 86, dude.
I don't get it.
Apparently, it is a expertly designed game. I don't know. Talk to DJ. He understands it. I said I played
Maybe
Pikmin
I need
3.
to play it because like I've never played them and they've always just looked like probably beginning 80s kind of games. Like they never really were like, whoa, like this game is like, but this is almost a 90. You're telling me it's that good? Like what? I don't know. Maybe again, I need to play it. You know, that's how I am. I usually judge things and then I play it and then I'm like, oh, it's great. So maybe it is really good. Maybe it actually is like an 88, but still, it's just like, wow.
Same score as Horizon Forbidden West. Same score as Final Fantasy 16.
Again, maybe Pikmin 4 has something up its sleeve that we do not know.
I'm talking on my ass because I have no clue. I played 5 hours of Pikmin 3 and did not like it.
And supposedly that's the worst one, which you said didn't even get under an 80. So how? So I don't know.
I don't even think all right. Well, whatever. DJ, comment down below. Let us know why Pikmin's so good.
Yeah, please tell us why. What's so special about Pikmin 4? Not here to judge.
Start with what the hell is Pikmin?
Yeah, what the hell is Pikmin, and why is it so good? Question mark.
Well, also, if you're not DJ and you have an answer for us, please let us know down below. Call us stupid. I don't really care. But let us know why Pikmin's so good.
I'm open to it. Looking at the book cover doesn't show me a lot. So, yeah.
All right. Well, out this week. Got actually a decent week for you guys here. On July 15th, Mr. Run and Jump comes out on PS5 for Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC. On July 25th, Remnant 2. So far getting actually really good scores. Comes out on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart sees its release on PC. On July 26th, Double Dragon Gaiden Rise of the Dragons comes out on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC. On July 27th, Return to Monkey Island comes out on iOS and Android. The Expanse, a Telltale series, begins its release on PS5 for Xbox Series X and S and PC. The Room VR, a Dark Matter on PSVR 2. And then on July 28th, Disney Illusion Island on Nintendo Switch. Now I think about it, it's not that great of a week. It's just Remnant 2 and The Expanse. I guess Ratchet and Clank too, but I already played it.
Yeah, so. Ratchet and Clank's a big one. Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
But dude, Remnant 2's getting a lot of good stuff out there, man.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. I played the first one. It didn't really blow me away. but maybe Remnant 2 is pretty cool because all I know about Remnant is it's basically Dark Souls with guns. That's what I thought I heard before.
Yeah, it's sitting at an 81 right now.
So I was really tempted to put that in my list, but I didn't know how well it's gonna score. So yeah. Okay. Decent week.
So I'm looking some stuff up. My bad.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Well, apparently. Oh, those are the re-releases. Never mind. I was trying to figure out what all the scores are. Yeah, Pikmin 3 Deluxe 85. Who the hell knows? I don't know, dude. I don't get Pikmin. To be fair, I don't get a lot of Nintendo stuff. I'm just not that into it really that much. Outside of like Mario and Zelda, that's really it.
Yeah,
Not,
I don't know.
not. Well, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the long one, but it was a big week. So, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of our show. Everyone who's been watching or listening, we just want to take this time, as always, thank you from the bottom of our empty souls. Without your support, we could not be doing what we're trying to do here, but please help us to continue to grow by telling everyone out there that you know who have the slightest appreciation for all things pop culture, that they have some new friends waiting to talk all sorts of fandoms with them. We would greatly appreciate it. Mr. Birdman, any last words?
Thank you guys for stopping by. Hope you guys enjoyed episode 59. Only 10 more episodes to, the number 69.
Why would you
But
say you know the number and then give the number?
I don't know, okay? I'm just being modern television fucking people, okay? I'm not. Instead of just letting them think, I'm gonna tell you the number. But I know we got caught up on a few topics, but it was interesting. I like us doing this little. That's kind of why we started this podcast. We get a little. We talk back and forth. We, not really debate, I guess, but it's a good conversation, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Other than that, also hope you guys enjoy my thumbnail. If you watch The Office, you'll know. But other than that, bring it back to Mike, and we're gonna get on out of here.
Once again, thanks everyone for listening and following along with us. This has been another episode of the XP Podcast brought to you by both of us here at the Experience Point. I hope everyone has a great week, and as always, we'll see you guys in the next one. I'm gonna go eat some food.
Adios.
Pizza.